Chapter 798. Everyone was stunned. The successor of the war god shrine, Cassiopeia, Zhu Biao, Qing Yun, and Zhao Ritian, the five geniuses, had joined forces and wielded their supreme divine weapons, but they were still unable to break the barrier. In the end, this strange old goat appeared and broke the barrier in the blink of an eye. It's Ling Zhao's mount. That despicable old goat obtained the demonic saint's inheritance in the holy ground. The scepter in its hand must be the demonic saint's treasure. Everyone, let's attack it together. We must not let it obtain the three treasures. Zhao Ritian almost roared out. His eyes were filled with anger and frustration. What he feared would happen. Previously, Zhao Ritian was still worried about whether the old goat would come here. In the end, the old goat really did come and broke the barrier with a wave of its hand. It wanted to snatch the three treasures. What? This old goat obtained the demonic saint's inheritance? Everyone trembled. Their eyes were about to pop out. This old goat looked so wretched. What did it do to obtain the demonic saint's inheritance? Boom! The successor of the war god shrine reacted the fastest. His eyes were filled with sharpness as he threw a punch at the ancient stone tablet. If the old goat were to grab the stone tablet, it would definitely be hit by the successor of the war god shrine. Whoosh! The old goat rolled its eyes and gave up on the stone tablet. It directly kept the demonic saint's divine blood and the divine medicine. Boom! The successor of the war god shrine's fist landed on the stone tablet. The stone tablet instantly burst out with dazzling light. Ancient runes spread out, as if it contained the life and death of a world. It was incomparably mysterious. Old goat, hand over the demonic saint's divine blood and the supreme divine medicine. Otherwise, you'll definitely die. Zhao Ritian glared at the old goat and said. Even Qing Yun, Zhu Biao, and the other geniuses surrounded the old goat. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. They couldn't tell the old goat's cultivation, but they felt that it was at most a half-step supreme being. They had worked so hard for so long, but the old goat took the fruits of their labor. How could they not be angry? Zhao Ritian, do you think that Ling Zhao didn't teach you a lesson enough? Scram, you bunch of trash. This place is a treasure that the demon sage left for me. If you don't leave now, don't blame me for not telling you when you die here. The old goat glanced at Zhao Ritian from the corner of his eyes, then sneered at the crowd. Too arrogant. Bastard, it's just an old goat. Is it worthy of the demon saint's inheritance? Let's kill it and make it into a stew. Then, we'll snatch the demonic sage's inheritance from it. Kill this arrogant old goat. Everyone was infuriated by the old goat. Their eyes were filled with incomparable coldness as they shouted one after another. Kill! Someone shouted and took the lead to charge at the old goat. Rumble! An incomparably terrifying palm came across the sky, containing a terrifying aura. It was an old man in a black robe who wanted to be the first to kill the old goat. Heh heh, you bunch of trash. You can't even catch up to my shadow. How dare you snatch the treasure from me? The old goat chuckled. His figure flashed and he dodged the palm print. His speed was like a ghost. It was so fast that no one could catch his afterimage. Everyone, let's kill him together. Zhao Ritian roared. With the sun god's sword in his hand, he took the lead and charged at the old goat. Rumble. The sun god's sword emitted an extremely bright light, as if it was a sun in the sky. It was so bright that it could turn everything into ashes. The blazing sword radiance slashed at the old goat. Zhao Ritian, let me tell you. Don't be arrogant in front of me. When I'm arrogant, even I'm afraid. You want to kill me with a broken sword? Is your head kicked by a donkey? The old goat said arrogantly to Zhao Ritian. At the same time, he used his extreme speed. It was as if he was teleporting in the void. The blazing sword radiance of the sun god's sword couldn't catch up with the old goat. Whoosh! Whoosh! Powerful auras swept across the sky towards the old goat. Qing Yun, Zhu Biao, and many other geniuses were aiming for the demonic saint's divine blood and supreme divine medicine in the old goat's body. They wanted to kill him completely. However, the old goat's speed was too fast and dazzling. After appearing for a brief moment, it would instantly teleport to another location. On the other side, the descendant of the war god temple and Buddhist Kasayapa were fighting for the mysterious tablet. Kasayapa, give this tablet to me and I'll help you get the other 2 treasures. How about it? The descendant's eyes flashed as he said flatly. This tablet has an affinity with Buddha. Why don't you give it to me and I'll help you get the other 2 treasures? Kasayapa chuckled in response. The Thunderclap Temple wants the 9th chapter of the Heaven's Will, but it's useless, right? The descendant said flatly. Whether it's useful or not, I'll take it back for Buddha to see. Kasayapa smiled. If that's the case, then let's fight. Let me see what level your Vairocana Sutra has reached. The descendant's eyes flashed sharply as he unleashed a simple punch towards Kasayapa. Boom! This punch contained a monstrous battle intent. Primordial mist permeated the area. His physical body was peerless. The fist intent was ferocious as it headed straight for Kasayapa. It seems like your heaven-opening scriptures of the divine god of battle has reached the greater success stage. If that's the case, allow me to test your strength. Kasayapa chuckled and also unleashed a palm strike towards the descendant. Rumble. Above the void, an ancient divine mountain rose up. This was the legendary godly Shumi of the ancestral court of Buddhism. It contained boundless divine might and was eternal and immortal. Mahakasayapa's Mount Sumeru divine palm was derived from the concept of immortal Sumeru, suppressing eternity. This palm seemed light, but it contained unparalleled power. Bang! The void shook and instantly shattered. Spatial turbulence gushed out. The descendant of War God Temple and Kasayapa both trembled and retreated at the same time. Ling Xiao, this is the best time to attack. The descendant of War God Temple and Kasayapa are fighting. We can take the tablet and leave. No one can stop us. Mu Xian hurriedly urged. His eyes were filled with anxiety. I'm afraid not. Even if we get the tablet, it'll be difficult to leave. Ling Xiao said with a sharp glint in his eyes. What do you mean? Mu Xian's expression changed. Chapter 799. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had just activated the power of the wordless heavenly book when he realized that something was wrong. It turned out that this small world was formed by the power of illusion and the source was the illusory demonic ancient tree. The illusory fiend ancient tree had already reached the peak of its growth stage and was about to reach its mature stage. Through the wordless heavenly book, Ling Xiao saw the illusory demonic ancient tree towering in the void. Its black branches reached deep into the void and were absorbing the energy of heaven and earth in the void. This entire small world was fake. Only the chaotic sacred mountain and the 3 treasures were real because they were left behind by the demon sage. Even the illusory demonic ancient tree could not get close to them. It was funny that these geniuses were fighting for their lives but did not know that their lives were hanging by a thread. What? The illusory demonic ancient tree? Mu Xian was stunned by this news. With the foundation of the Tomb King city, he naturally knew what the illusory demonic ancient tree meant. The illusory demonic ancient tree was like the tree of life to the extraterritorial demons. After the extraterritorial demons died, their primordial spirits could be reborn in the illusory demonic ancient tree. Hence, the extraterritorial demons called the illusory demonic ancient tree. Ling Xiao roughly understood why the demon tribe and the other 3 tribes had gone against each other and betrayed the oath they had made. The experts of the demon tribe had been controlled by the illusory demonic ancient tree. In other words, they had been taken over by the extraterritorial demons on the illusory demonic ancient tree. Ling Xiao could vaguely see that the demon sage palace was a mysterious space and that the sacred mountain was the seal that suppressed the illusory demonic ancient tree. Now that the illusory demonic ancient tree had broken away and everyone had entered to attack the boundary, the seal's power had been greatly weakened. It would not be long before the illusory demonic ancient tree was born. A illusory demonic ancient tree at its peak was comparable to a titled supreme. Once it reached maturity, even a true godly spirit realm expert would not be able to do anything to it. Then what should we do? Mu Xian's expression turned ugly. I'll send you out of here first. I'll think of a way to get the stone tablet, but before that, I really want to meet the illusory demonic ancient tree. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he spoke slowly. He could already feel that the wordless heavenly book was trembling with excitement. It was exuding a wave of incomparable desire. Speaking of which, Ling Zhao had devoured 2 phantom demonic ancient trees. One was in the secret realm of immortality in the 8 Desolates region, while the other was in the heavenly stone in the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon. If he could devour this illusory fiend ancient tree, he would definitely be able to obtain a supreme secret technique. Currently, the sky-swallowing secret skill, teleportation secret skill, ancestral dragon secret skill, and true phoenix secret skill that Ling Zhao had obtained were all marvelous. However, Ling Zhao still lacked a true killing secret skill. The 108 secret skills in the wordless heavenly book contained the power of the law of heaven. They were extremely mysterious and were the origin of martial arts. Therefore, Ling Zhao looked forward to the appearance of each secret skill. What? Ling Zhao, are you crazy? The phantom fiend ancient tree was at the peak of its growth period. Even titled supremes were powerless against it. What could he possibly do? If we're leaving together. Mu Xian's body trembled as he stared at Ling Zhao in disbelief. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Ling Zhao smiled faintly. He didn't want anyone to know about the secret of the wordless heavenly book. Therefore, it was better for Mu Xian to send him out first. Buzz! The divine stone flashed and instantly turned into an undetectable ray of light that left the demon saint palace. After sending Mu Xian out, Ling Zhao returned. Old goat, you bastard! Why didn't you tell me that you were coming out of seclusion? Ling Zhao's voice suddenly entered the old goat's mind, startling him. Ling Zhao. You're here too. Where are you? I'm telling you, hurry up and leave this place. This demon saint palace is very strange. There's a phantom fiend ancient tree suppressed inside. The old goat hurriedly said in his mind. Do I need you to tell me that? I already knew about it. Moreover, that phantom fiend ancient tree is about to be born. I'm afraid that everyone here won't be able to escape. Do you want to do something big again? Ling Zhao rolled his eyes. The old goat indeed knew that there was information about the phantom fiend ancient tree here. Do something big? How? The old goat's eyes instantly lit up at the mention of this. You're pretty strong. You should have advanced to the supreme realm, right? What's the point of playing with them? Why don't we think of a way to devour the phantom fiend ancient tree? Ling Zhao smiled faintly as a trace of radiance flashed in his eyes. He had long noticed that the old goat's strength was unfathomable after obtaining the demonic saint's inheritance. At the very least, the old goat should have the strength of a supreme being. This was why the old goat was able to dodge Zhao Ritian, Qing Yun, and Zhu Biao's attacks so easily. Moreover, what surprised Ling Zhao was that the old goat's teleportation secret technique had already been cultivated to the greater realm. His advancement was even faster than Ling Zhao's. He could teleport freely in the void like a ghost. I'm only at the first level of the supreme realm. The old man doesn't want me to advance too quickly, so he suppressed my strength. Devour the phantom fiend ancient tree? Actually, I also have this idea. It's just that I can't do it on my own. However, with you, this plan is feasible. The old goat smiled wretchedly. All right. Then think of a way to add fuel to the fire. Let the phantom fiend ancient tree take action and chase these guys out. It'll be easier for us to take action. Ling Zhao said slowly. The secret of the wordless heavenly book could not be exposed. They could only take action after these people were all out. Don't worry, that's easy. The old goat smiled. There's another problem. If we attack the phantom fiend ancient tree, can you seal the demon saint's palace? I suspect that the demon city's supremes have already been possessed by the extraterrestrial demons. If something happens to the phantom fiend ancient tree, I'm afraid they'll rush back to save it. There are at least 3 titled supremes in the demon city. Ling Xiao reminded. I've also thought of this problem. Sealing the demon saint's palace and stopping them for a while is still possible. Moreover, as long as we kill the phantom fiend ancient tree, the extraterrestrial demons in the supremes' bodies will be rootless. I'm afraid it'll be easy to destroy them. Who knows, I might even be able to subdue the demon tribe. The old goat replied. Very good. Ling Xiao nodded his head and relaxed. After he finished discussing with the old goat began to take action. Rumble. The demon saint's scepter in the old goat's hand flashed and instantly emitted an ancient and mysterious aura. A bunch of small fries. I don't have time to play with you. The old goat sneered. Suddenly, the demon saint's scepter shone brightly and rose into the sky. It emitted an incomparably terrifying fluctuation and smashed towards the huge chaotic divine mountain. Chapter 800. Rumble. The chaotic godly mountain trembled violently and emitted resplendent rays of light. Runes spread out from the mountain, causing the entire world to tremble. Crack. The heavens and earth trembled as the void shattered like a mirror. How could there be a complete small world? This was a chaotic space of nothingness. A black tree that was over 1,000,000 feet tall stood between heaven and earth, exuding an extremely terrifying demonic aura. The branches and leaves pierced into the void as if they were absorbing the energy of the heavens. The black demonic tree's crown was like a dome that covered the sky. Above the demonic tree, there were balls of light that hung on the tree like fruits, as if they were nurturing some kind of strange life. Above the demonic tree, the primal chaos divine mountain exuded a sealing power, binding the demonic tree firmly in this space. However, the power of the seal was getting weaker and weaker, as if it could break at any moment. The old goat used the demon saint scepter to break the illusory power of the phantom demon ancient tree, but at the same time, it weakened the sealing power. This is the legendary illusory demon ancient tree? Someone exclaimed in shock. His eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. No wonder the demon tribe is so strange. I'm afraid they have all been possessed by the extraterrestrial demons. That's terrifying. The ancient tree of the illusion demon is at least as strong as a titled sovereign, right? Everyone was terrified, as if they had discovered something extremely terrifying. Their bodies began to tremble. Roar! 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 At this moment, the illusory demon ancient tree let out a roar like that of a ferocious beast. It instantly shook the sky. It was extremely terrifying. The chaotic chi in the void was violently spreading. Crack. The sealing power emitted by the primal chaos sacred mountain shattered instantly. The illusory demonic ancient tree towered in the chaotic void. It looked terrifying, like a supreme giant demon. Whoosh! Whoosh! Branches as thick as dragons shot through the air like bolts of black lightning. They actually pierced through the bodies of several dozen geniuses in an instant. Ah! They let out extremely miserable screams, but they stopped abruptly in an instant because their bodies were sucked dry in an instant, and then turned into ashes. Whoosh whoosh! The thick tree branches also extended towards Xiaoritian, Qingyun, Zhu Biao, the successor of the war god temple, and Buddhist Kasayapa. The terrifying demonic aura caused everyone to tremble and turn pale. Bastard! That bastard demon saint actually suppressed an illusion fiend ancient tree here. Is he trying to get us killed? Even that scarlet dragon war god fellow had no way to exterminate the phantom devil ancient tree. He was simply playing with fire. Ritian, hurry up and leave. We can't stay here any longer. Second uncle's voice roared in Zhao Ritian's heart. Needless to say, Zhao Ritian knew that the phantom ancient tree was not to be trifled with. The sun god's sword in his hand was dazzling and instantly burst out with an incomparably brilliant light, cutting off a branch in front of him. Then, he looked at the old goat with some reluctance. Riding the void golden-eyed beast, he pierced through the void and escaped from the demon saint palace. Rumble. Zhu Biao and Qing Yun did the same. They also cut off the branches of the phantom devil ancient tree that were coming towards them and used powerful means to escape from the demon saint palace. They were all decisive people. Knowing that the phantom devil ancient tree was not to be trifled with, they would only be waiting for death if they stayed. Cassiopeia, leave the demon saint palace first. You and I will study this stone tablet together. The successor of the war god temple said to Cassiopeia with a sharp glint in his eyes. All right. Cassiopeia also knew that the situation was critical and that it was not the time to continue fighting. Whoosh! 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 Suddenly, several huge tree branches pierced towards the successor of the war god temple and Cassiopeia. At the same time, one of the branches swept towards the stone tablet. For some reason, the phantom devil ancient tree seemed to be particularly interested in this stone tablet. Previously, it could not obtain the power of the seal. Now that the seal was broken, the first thing it did was to snatch the stone tablet. Bastard, you are courting death. The successor of the war god temple had a cold glint in his eyes. In an instant, he leaped into the sky and threw out a punch. The chaotic fist print was unparalleled and contained the power to crush everything. It shattered the tree branches in front of him and rushed towards the stone tablet at the same time. Cassiopeia also cut off the tree branches in front of him and rushed towards the stone tablet without caring about anything else. Rumble. The phantom devil ancient tree seemed to be enraged. Heavenly demonic chi spread out like a black ocean. A tree branch covered the sky and blocked out the sun. It wanted to stop the successor of the war god temple and Cassiopeia from snatching the stone tablet. This is my chance. At this moment, Ling Xiao steered the celestial stone and silently arrived beside the stone tablet. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. Suddenly, a bright light spread out and instantly sucked the stone tablet into the celestial stone. However, the celestial stone was instantly exposed after the stone tablet was taken away. The successor of the war god temple, Cassiopeia, and even the phantom devil ancient tree all locked onto the celestial stone with furious expressions. Rumble. The successor of the war god temple's chaotic fist print, Cassiopeia's Mount Meru divine palm, and the phantom devil ancient tree's tree branches all slammed towards the celestial stone. In an instant, the sky trembled and chaotic mist exploded. The terrifying power was extremely powerful. Rat, hand over the stone tablet. Otherwise, even if you run to the ends of the earth, I will kill you with my own hands. The successor of the war god temple said in a cold voice. Benefactor hiding in the dark, the stone tablet is not yours. Hand it over. Otherwise, even if Buddha is merciful, you will still be furious. Cassiopeia's voice was also cold. It was no wonder that they were angry. After all, they had fought with their lives to break the city's defensive array, kill the 3 demon sovereigns, and break the barrier. They had paid a great price to find this stone tablet. In the end, the person hiding in the dark took advantage of the situation and directly snatched the stone tablet away. Rumble. As the terrifying attacks descended, the celestial stone shone brightly and emitted a mysterious power of runes, blocking all the attacks. However, Ling Xiao wasn't sure how strong the celestial stone could block, so in an instant, he came out of the celestial stone and put it away. Ling Xiao. The successor of the war god temple looked extremely gloomy. He didn't expect the person hiding in the dark to be Ling Xiao. Chapter 801. Gentlemen, the illusory demonic ancient tree is about to go berserk. When the time comes, you won't be able to leave even if you want to. Don't blame me for not warning you. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. In an instant, his figure flashed as he used the shifting secret technique and moved to the side of the old goat. Rumble. At Ling Xiao's original position, a few thick tree branches stretched out from the void. A terrifying demonic aura exploded, causing the void to tremble violently. Roar! The illusory demonic ancient tree seemed to be completely enraged. Its huge trunk trembled as if the world was shaking. Terrifying demonic aura enveloped the area as the tree branches traversed the void. Numerous powerful extraterritorial demons descended from the illusory demonic ancient tree. There were hundreds of extraterritorial demons, all of them at the supremacy realm. Their auras were incomparably terrifying. The dark demonic aura caused the depths of everyone's soul to tremble uncontrollably. There was no difference in the terrifying attack as it enveloped everyone. Even the descendant of the war god temple and the Arhat Kasayapa's expression turned ugly in the face of such a terrifying attack. Ling Xiao, I'll leave the stone tablet with you. I'll remember you. I'll come and get it myself. The descendant of the war god temple coldly glanced at Ling Xiao. The god's decree instantly shone brightly, blocking all the attacks that were directed at the descendant of the war god temple. Then, it swept up the descendant of the war god temple and disappeared from the space. Kasayapa also glanced at Ling Xiao indifferently. Under the protection of the 9 sea calming pearls, he left the demon saint palace. As for the remaining experts, they were not so lucky. They didn't have the cultivation of a supremacy realm, nor did they have the combat strength of a supremacy. In front of the illusory demonic ancient tree, they were like ants. One by one, the branches pierced through their chests and turned them into nourishment for the illusory demonic ancient tree. They let out miserable cries before their souls completely dispersed. Rumble! The demon saint's scepter shone brightly, instantly shattering all the branches that were coming at them. Ling Xiao, do you have any ideas? This illusory demonic ancient tree is unexpectedly strong. Destroying a few branches and devouring some of the demonic aura won't do anything to it. The old goat asked while blocking the attacks of the phantom fiend ancient tree. This illusory demonic ancient tree is indeed very powerful. However, if I can enter its body, I will be able to completely exterminate it. How about this, you block the phantom fiend ancient tree's attacks and attract its attention, I'll find a way to enter its body. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. If he could enter the body of the illusory fiend ancient tree, with the terrifying restraining power of the wordless heavenly book, it would not take long for him to suck the entire tree dry. However, this illusory fiend ancient tree was extremely terrifying. Wanting to enter the tree's body would not be that easy. All right. The old goat immediately agreed. The demonic saint's scepter in his hand seemed to have a special attraction to the phantom fiend ancient tree. It was always able to infuriate it. Rumble! The illusory demonic ancient tree went completely berserk. Countless branches swept across the sky, each strike containing the power of a supreme being. It was incomparably terrifying. The sky was filled with black heavenly demon chi. Numerous powerful heavenly demons pounced towards the old goat. They were extremely powerful. Hee hee, a bunch of demons. I'll let you have a taste of my power. The old goat sneered as his eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. Rumble! The demonic saint's scepter in his hand shone brightly. It was dazzling as if it had set off a void storm. Runes filled the air. Behind the old goat, there seemed to be a scene of thousands of monsters galloping towards the illusory demon ancient tree. Boom! A violent explosion swept out in all directions. Countless heavenly demon chi exploded and then condensed again, pouncing towards the old goat. Using the power of the demonic saint scepter, the old goat was able to block the attack of the phantom fiend ancient tree. Ling Xiao took the opportunity to leave the demonic saint palace using the realm-breaking shuttle. Because the phantom fiend ancient tree had locked onto Ling Xiao in the demonic saint palace, he had to leave. After leaving the demon saint palace, Ling Xiao hid in the celestial stone and quietly came back in. The phantom fiend ancient tree was 1,000,000 feet tall. It towered in the chaotic void. Its roots and branches pierced into the depths of the void, absorbing the power of other spaces. Without the suppression of the chaotic sacred mountain, the power of the phantom fiend ancient tree became even more terrifying. The old goat was blocking the attack of the phantom fiend ancient tree. Ling Xiao had to take this opportunity to find a way to enter the body of the phantom fiend ancient tree. Otherwise, the old goat would be in danger. The huge body of the tree was like a heavenly pillar. It was thicker than a mountain. Its bark was like an old dragon, emitting a black luster. The divine stone was like a speck of dust. It landed on the phantom fiend ancient tree like an ant. There's a layer of heavenly demon qi intertwined to defend it. It won't be easy to break through. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he carefully observed the trunk of the phantom fiend ancient tree. The heavenly demon qi intertwined on the trunk. There was a layer of mysterious power of law. It would not be easy to break through the defense of the phantom fiend ancient tree. At the most critical moment, if his attack failed, the phantom fiend ancient tree would go berserk and lose his second chance. He had to break through the defense of the phantom fiend ancient tree in one blow. Old goat, come to my side. I'm going to break through the defense of the phantom fiend ancient tree. However, the moment I break through the defense of the phantom fiend ancient tree, I'll definitely attract its attention. You have to block one of its attacks for me, and I'll be able to enter its body. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice to the old goat. With the heaven-devouring sword's power and the 7 limits divine technique of devouring the heavens and earth, Ling Xiao was confident that he could break through the illusion fiend ancient tree's defense with one strike. Alright, no problem. After the old goat heard Ling Xiao's voice transmission, he slowly moved closer to Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao's body emitted a blazing golden glow. With the sky-devouring sword in his hand, his eyes suddenly became incomparably sharp. At that moment, the longevity grass appeared out of nowhere and said to Ling Xiao, I advise you not to use the martial art you used to kill the Ziwei stellar child. Instead, use the longevity incantation. With the power of the longevity sword qi, you'll definitely be able to break through the defense of the phantom fiend ancient tree. Longevity incantation? Why? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he glanced at the longevity grass. Chapter 802. Good. Let's try it with the longevity art. Ling Xiao glanced at the longevity grass and nodded. For some reason, Ling Xiao chose to believe in the longevity grass. Swoosh! The sky-devouring sword shone brightly, exuding an incomparably sharp light. Ling Xiao activated the longevity art and the sky-devouring sword began to emit an endless stream of longevity sword qi. At the tip of the sky-devouring sword, a crack began to appear in the void. It was filled with a sharp qi that could pierce through everything. Boom! Ling Xiao instantly rushed out of the divine stone and pierced the illusory demonic ancient tree's crown with his sword. Like a dazzling Milky Way piercing through the void, the sky-devouring sword was incomparably sharp. Ling Xiao's spirit was condensed to the extreme. His essence, qi, and spirit were united, and he was one with the sword. He stabbed the illusory demonic ancient tree in an instant. Rumble. Like a piece of craft paper being pierced, the nomological defense formed by the intertwined heavenly demon qi was instantly shattered. The terrifying sword qi blasted a large hole in the trunk of the illusory demonic ancient tree. Roar! 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 The illusory demonic ancient tree seemed to be completely enraged. It was intolerable for a small bug to injure its body. The hole that was blasted open by the longevity sword qi squirmed rapidly, as if it was about to heal. Countless black branches, like black lightning, shrouded Ling Xiao. Old goat! Ling Xiao yelled loudly. Coming! The old goat laughed mischievously. The demon saint's scepter in his hand instantly shone brightly, forming a blazing barrier that blocked all the branches outside. Ling Xiao turned into a stream of light and plunged into the body of the illusory demonic ancient tree. Boom! The large hole was sealed in an instant. Countless black qi from the illusory demonic ancient tree shrouded Ling Xiao, as if it wanted to kill him completely. Wordless heavenly book, come out. Ling Xiao said indifferently, a sharp glint flashing in his eyes. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book, which had been suppressed by Ling Xiao, could no longer hold back. It rushed out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows, blooming with dazzling light. Runes flashed and rays of light filled the air. The wordless heavenly book slowly rotated, forming a huge devouring vortex around it. Boom! The black liquid that surged towards the wordless heavenly book was instantly swallowed by it. Roar! 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 The illusory demon ancient tree also sensed the existence of the wordless heavenly book. It emitted a wave of anger and fear, and began to tremble violently. Within the tree trunk, waves of black demonic liquid surged like an endless ocean. It wriggled violently as if it wanted to expel Ling Xiao and the wordless heavenly book. But the wordless heavenly book was like a corpse, firmly attached to the phantom demon ancient tree and began to crazily devour the tree's power. Rumble. The old goat held the demon saint's scepter and turned into a stream of light that entered the illusion fiend ancient tree's body. Ha ha ha. Heaven-devouring secret technique, devour. The old goat laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with excitement. Rumble. The demon overlord's scepter floated above the old goat's head and turned into a bright barrier that protected the old goat. Meanwhile, the old goat summoned the King Heaven Devourer cauldron and began devouring the power of the Mirage Devil Tree. As for Ling Xiao, he sat down cross-legged beneath the wordless heavenly tome, drawing on his heaven-devouring secret magic to absorb the quintessence of the area. The body of the illusory demon ancient tree contained the purest heavenly demonic energy. Ordinary people, even supreme being experts, would be instantly corroded into nothingness. However, the heaven-devouring secret skill was capable of devouring everything in the world. Even the power of the illusion devil ancient tree could be devoured. The trunk of the illusory fiend ancient tree began to wither at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then turned into ashes. Ling Xiao and the old goat continued to move deeper into the tree, devouring the pure heavenly devil energy and destroying the structure of the illusory fiend ancient tree. Unfortunately, the combined power of Ling Xiao and the old goat wasn't even 1/10,000th of what the wordless heavenly tome was capable of devouring. With the wordless heavenly tome as the center, the vortex of devouring grew larger and larger, until not even a blade of grass could grow in its wake. No matter how much the phantom fiend ancient tree struggled, no matter how angry it roared, Ling Xiao and the old goat had penetrated deep into its body and were wantonly stealing its power. There was nothing it could do. Rumble. The area of primal chaos began to tremble, as though someone were attacking the demon overlord's palace. Is the illusory fiend ancient tree really that afraid of death? Yang Qi asked. Those 3 titled paragons came back pretty quickly. We must speed up. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. We have to destroy the illusory fiend ancient tree before those 3 titled paragons enter the demon overlord's palace. Otherwise, we'll be like turtles in a jar. The old goat said through gritted teeth. How long can the demon overlord's palace last? Ling Xiao asked with a frown. I used the last bit of demon overlord's power that the old man left behind to seal the demon overlord's palace, but I'm afraid it can only stop those 3 titled paragons for a day, the old goat said. A day? That's enough. Since this illusory fiend ancient tree wants to die, let's send it on its way. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he began to use all his strength to activate the wordless heavenly tome. Rumble. The wordless heavenly tome shone brightly, and the devouring vortex became even more terrifying. A large amount of heavenly devil energy in the illusory fiend ancient tree began to be devoured. After the wordless heavenly tome purified the heavenly devil energy, although 99% of it was devoured by the second stroke wordless heavenly tome, there was still a little left for Ling Xiao. Even a little bit of pure energy caused the heavenly devouring true liquid in Ling Xiao's Dantian Sea of Qi to surge. Ling Xiao's Dantian Sea of Qi was now like a small world, and the heavenly devouring true liquid was like a vast ocean. As the power of the illusory fiend ancient tree was being devoured, the heavenly devouring true liquid in Ling Xiao's Dantian Sea of Qi began to surge at a speed visible to the naked eye. Soon, the heavenly devouring true liquid in Ling Xiao's Dantian Sea of Qi was completely filled. Ling Xiao activated the power of the heavenly devouring secret skill and began to compress the heavenly devouring true liquid. Finally, 99% of the energy was removed, leaving only a faint layer of heavenly devouring true liquid. Rumble. Chapter 803. Ling Xiao compressed the heaven-devouring liquid once again. After 9 rounds of compression, Ling Xiao's dantian and sea of qi were completely perfected. There was no way to fuse any further. Ling Xiao knew that the heaven-devouring liquid in his body had been polished to perfection. He could go through the black water tribulation anytime he wanted. The 1,000,000 zhang tal illusion fiend ancient tree had already been reduced to ashes by the tens of thousands of zhang tal tree. The illusory demonic ancient tree trembled violently as if it was about to shatter the chaotic void. In the end, a black ball of light floated toward Ling Xiao and the old goat. It exuded a strange temptation as if it wanted to pull Ling Xiao and the old goat into an illusory realm. Give it up. Give it up. If you give it up, you will obtain eternal life and become the supreme being of the world. Sleep. Release your control over the wordless heavenly book and I will grant you eternal life. Stop this stupid action. Whether it is the Jiutian goddess or the power to dominate the world, I will grant you both. A strange fluctuation floated toward Ling Xiao and the old goat's consciousness. The mysterious illusory power contained a strange law fluctuation. It was as if it could pull even titled supreme beings into an illusory realm and sink them into eternal oblivion. You're courting death. Ling Xiao snorted. The wordless heavenly book trembled slightly. In an instant, a dazzling light sprinkled down and woke Ling Xiao and the old goat up completely. The black ball of light screamed and tried to escape, but it was swallowed by the wordless heavenly book in an instant. It turned into an incomparably pure primordial spirit energy and merged with Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. The black ball of light was the collective consciousness of the illusory demonic ancient tree. Although the illusory demonic ancient tree was extremely terrifying and could give birth to extraterrestrial demons, it seemed to be restricted by some law of heaven and earth. There was no way for the illusory demonic ancient tree to condense true intelligence. The collective consciousness was like an instinct. It could use illusory power and was equivalent to the soul of the illusory demonic ancient tree. If even the collective consciousness had appeared, it meant that the illusory demonic ancient tree was truly afraid. Ling Xiao did not show any mercy. He continued to activate the wordless heavenly book and began to wantonly devour the power of the illusory demonic ancient tree. Meanwhile, those consciousnesses were all devoured by Ling Xiao, turning into the purest primordial spirit power, making Ling Xiao's primordial spirit stronger and stronger. Devouring the illusory demonic ancient tree was definitely a great opportunity for Ling Xiao. Otherwise, based on his current cultivation speed, it would probably take him a few more years of hard work to overcome the tribulation of black water and tribulation of heavenly wind. After all, Ling Xiao's accumulation was too deep. The power of the calamity of black water and calamity of heavenly wind must be incomparably terrifying. The old goat's aura began to surge. It would take hundreds of years for a supreme being to advance by a single level. The 9th heavenly layer of the Supreme Being realm could be said to be one level higher with each step. Every bit of improvement was incomparably difficult. After obtaining the demon saint's inheritance, the old goat's strength had reached the first level of the supreme stage. Now that it had devoured the illusory demon ancient tree, its strength had begun to skyrocket. Rumble. The shockwaves attacking Demon Saint Palace were getting stronger and stronger, but Ling Xiao and the old goat turned a deaf ear to it. They continued to devour the phantom demon ancient tree and cultivate. Unknowingly, when all the consciousness of the illusory demon ancient tree was devoured by Ling Xiao, the shockwaves attacking Demon Saint Palace stopped. Ling Xiao and the old mountain goat ignored him and continued to cultivate. Outside Demon Saint Palace, 3 figures with incomparably terrifying auras stood in the sky above Demon Saint Palace. Their eyes were filled with confusion. The 3 figures each had an unfathomable aura. They exuded a bloody aura that caused the void to tremble. They were the 3 city lords of the demon tribe, Demon Venerable Baizé, Demon Venerable Divine Crane, and Demon Venerable Domineering Tiger. Demon Venerable Baizé was dressed in a white robe. He was a middle-aged man with an elegant face and extraordinary temperament. Demon Venerable Divine Crane was a cold young man in a black robe. Demon Venerable Domineering Tiger was a muscular man with a mace in his hand. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Yu Chongshan and the experts of the other two tribes descended upon Demon City and surrounded the three demon venerables. Each of them was bathed in blood and filled with murderous intent. The three of you, surrender. The Demon City Supremes have all been killed. Only the three of you are left. Yu Chongshan looked at the three demon venerables and said indifferently. Apart from Yu Chongshan, there was also a middle-aged woman with an extraordinary temperament. She was the tribe leader of the spirit tribe, Lingji. The other was a man in a grey robe with his hands clasped together. He had a buzz cut and exuded a Buddhist aura. He was the tribe leader of the Buddha tribe, Maha. The three tribes besieged Demon City. Demon Venerable Baizé, Demon Venerable Divine Crane, and Demon Venerable Domineering Tiger led more than 10 Supremes to fight. Originally, both sides had suffered losses and could be said to be evenly matched. But for some reason, the three demon venerables seemed to have gone mad. They rushed out of the encirclement and returned to Demon City to besiege Demon Saint Palace. As for the remaining Demon City Supremes, without the three titled demon venerables, they all died in the hands of Yu Chongshan, Lingji, and Maha. After a discussion, the three tribes decided to take advantage of this day to destroy Demon City in one fell swoop. When they arrived at Demon City, they saw the three demon venerables attacking Demon Saint Palace. But not long after, they suddenly stopped, and a trace of confusion appeared in their eyes. Baizé, Divine Crane, Domineering Tiger, are you deaf? Betraying the original oath, damn it. Today, I will use your lives to pay tribute to the spirit of the war god in heaven. The tribe leader of the spirit tribe, Lingji, glared at the three demon venerables and said coldly. War god. These two words seemed to have touched a nerve in the hearts of Baizé, Divine Crane, and Domineering Tiger. The three of them regained their senses and looked at each other with a bitter smile on their faces. Three tribe leaders, I am sorry. Our Demon City has indeed let down the war god and Demon Saint Palace. Who would have thought that in a dream of 1,000,000 years, we would be the loyal guards of the war god, but who would have thought that we would be reduced to the thugs of the heavenly demons? How sad, how lamentable. Baizé's eyes were clear as he looked at Yu Chongshan, Lingji, and Maha. His eyes were full of guilt and pain. A dream of 1,000,000 years. What do you mean? Yu Chongshan's eyes widened as he stared at Baizé. Brother Yu, don't listen to their nonsense. So many people from our three tribes have died in their hands. They must die today. Lingji said coldly. We do deserve to die, but please wait for a few more days. When the young lord has completely destroyed the phantom demon ancient tree, we will definitely die to atone for our sins. Baizé said sincerely. Young lord? Phantom demon ancient tree? What are you talking about? Chapter 804. Baizé sighed, it's a long story. Our four tribes were originally the descendants of the four divine generals under the war god. Our demon city had the heavy responsibility of suppressing the illusion devil ancient tree and waiting for the young lord's return. Now, the illusion devil ancient tree and the young lord are in the demon saint palace. What? The illusion devil ancient tree is in the demon saint palace? Who is the young lord you speak of? Yu Chongshan was shocked and quickly asked. 1,000,000 years ago, before the demon saint died, he sealed the illusion devil ancient tree in the demon saint palace. He also told us that when the young lord returns, it will be the day of the illusion devil ancient tree's destruction. But in the long years of 1,000,000 years, the demon tribe had multiplied for countless generations, and their care of the illusion devil ancient tree had become somewhat lax. Finally, 10,000 years ago, the illusion devil ancient tree found an opportunity to possess a powerhouse in the demon city. In the following 10,000 years, most of the people in the demon city were possessed by the illusion devil ancient tree. We were controlled by the illusion devil ancient tree, and at the same time, gained strength from the illusion devil ancient tree, causing the demon tribe's strength to soar rapidly. At the same time, we began to attack the other 3 tribes. The mission given to us by the illusion devil ancient tree was to destroy the 3 tribes and break the flowing time temple. So the 3 tribe leaders, the changes in the demon city in the past 10,000 years were because of the illusion devil ancient tree's control. When we were fighting, the illusion devil ancient tree suddenly encountered a fatal danger and called us back. So we desperately came back, wanting to break the demon saint palace and rescue the illusion devil ancient tree. But we did not expect that the illusion devil ancient tree would be destroyed by someone. When the illusion devil ancient tree was destroyed, the trace of the heavenly demon original soul in our sea of consciousness dissipated, and at the same time, we also felt a trace of the young lord's aura. Now, the young lord is in the demon saint palace, and I believe it won't be long before the young lord appears. Bai Zhe sighed softly, his voice was very calm as he explained the cause and effect. The reason why the 3 of them could recover their intelligence was because they were already supremes when they were controlled thousands of years ago. So the illusion devil ancient tree had no way of erasing their intelligence, and could only suppress their consciousness. The others were not so lucky. Even if they were not killed by Yu Chongshan and the others, they would be dead for sure after the phantom demon ancient tree died. Even though Yu Chongshan, Ling Ji, and Maha were all titled supremes, they were still dumbfounded. The demon city actually sealed a phantom fiend ancient tree? They had never heard of such a secretive matter. No wonder the demon city suddenly changed 10,000 years ago and started to attack the 3 major tribes. The 3 tribes had once captured experts from Demon City and discovered the heavenly demonic chi after killing them. However, they had no idea why the experts from Demon City would be contaminated with the heavenly demonic chi. Who would have thought that there would be an illusory devil ancient tree? The young master you speak of, could it be the son of the beast saint? Yu Chongshan's eyes trembled as he slowly asked. That's right, it's the demon saint's son. The ancestors of our city of demons have always said that when the young lord arrives, it will be the day of the destruction of the illusory devil ancient tree. Who would have thought that the young lord would actually appear this time, kill the illusory devil ancient tree, and even save us? Bai Zhe sighed softly. Humph. Who knows if you're telling the truth? Brother Yu, don't listen to them. I think they're making up such a ridiculous story because they have nowhere to run. Ling Ji said with a cold gaze. She was full of resentment towards the Demon City because Ling Ji's father died in the hands of the experts from Demon City. Therefore, she had a strong enmity in her heart. Leader Ling Ji, if the 3 of us really want to leave, I'm afraid you won't be able to stop us. If you still have doubts about what I said, why don't you wait for the young lord to come out of seclusion? Then you'll know everything. Bai Zhe smiled. Ling Ji's face froze, and she snorted coldly without saying anything. She also knew that Demon Venerable Bai Zhe was telling the truth. The 3 Demon Venerables were extremely strong, even stronger than Yu Chongshan, Ling Ji, and Maha. If they really wanted to leave, the 3 major tribes would not be able to stop the 3 titled supremes. Sister Ling Ji, don't be impatient. I think Lord Bai Zhe's words are most likely true, but we can't believe it so easily. How about we wait for a while? Yu Chongshan's eyes flashed as he looked at Ling Ji and persuaded her. In the end, Yu Chongshan, Ling Ji, and Maha discussed and agreed to wait for the people in the Demon Saint Palace to come out of seclusion. This battle was considered to have come to an end temporarily, and they had waited for half a year. Inside the Demon Saint Palace, the illusory demonic ancient tree's 1,000,000 feet tall body had completely turned into ashes. The wordless heavenly book floated in the void, shining brightly as it devoured the remaining heavenly demon chi. The old goat and Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the void to cultivate. After devouring the power of the illusory demonic ancient tree and cultivating for half a year, the old goat's cultivation had broken through to the 3rd level of the supremacy realm. In this half a year, the heaven-devouring true liquid in Ling Xiao's body had been completely perfected, and even the power of his primordial spirit had grown to the extreme, establishing an extremely solid foundation. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the void, and there seemed to be a black ocean in his body, roaring and vast, emitting an extremely terrifying aura. In between his eyebrows, his primordial spirit was wrapped in endless heavenly wind, as if it was being cut into pieces. The calamity of black water and the calamity of heavenly wind. Ling Xiao actually intended to go through these two calamities at the same time. The black water was completely condensed from the heavenly Tao law, and it wreaked havoc in Ling Xiao's Dantian Qi Si, as if it wanted to turn the heaven-devouring true liquid into nothingness, eroding the power of the heaven-devouring true liquid bit by bit. The heavenly wind in his consciousness sea was like an unparalleled sharp saber that fell on Ling Xiao's primordial spirit, and it felt as if his soul was being cut into pieces. That kind of extreme pain would have driven an ordinary person crazy. The calamities of the four symbols were each more terrifying than the last. Even the genius disciples of the martial Tao Holy Lands would tremble in fear and be extremely cautious when going through each calamity. Who would be as daring as Ling Xiao to go through two calamities at the same time? Rumble. The calamity of black water and the calamity of heavenly wind were formed from the power of law. Even if Ling Xiao's physical body was strong, his strength was unparalleled, and his primordial spirit was incomparably sturdy, he had no choice but to persevere. Waves of black waves spread out. Ling Xiao had gone through the earth calamity and condensed the true dragon body, and his physical body was already extremely sturdy. However, at this moment, cracks appeared on his physical body, and even between his eyebrows. The heaven-devouring true liquid in Ling Xiao's Dantian Qi Si began to dry up, and the light in his primordial spirit began to dim. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the void, as if he was dead, and there were no signs of life. This guy won't play himself to death, right? The old goat stared at Ling Xiao and muttered softly. He also felt that Ling Xiao was too bold to go through two calamities at the same time. Chapter 805. Rumble. In the end, when the old goat almost thought that Ling Xiao was really dead, an incomparably majestic vitality gushed out from Ling Xiao's body. It was as if millions of lightning bolts had descended. Ling Xiao's body emitted an incomparably resplendent light. In his dantian, streaks of golden heaven-devouring true liquid surged, emitting a divine fluctuation. It was incomparably mysterious. That energy had already surpassed the category of true energy and true essence. It could be called pseudo-divine energy. Once he passed the supremacy tribulation, he would be able to completely cultivate divine energy and become a supreme supremacy. In the sea of consciousness, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit sat cross-legged in the void. A resplendent divine sun rose behind him, emitting an incomparably pure light. Pure yang primordial spirit. After passing the tribulation of heavenly wind, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit had finally transformed into a pure yang primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's body was shrouded in golden light. His vitality was monstrous, and there were actually 3 Tao flowers blooming above his head. They were dazzling, pure, and flawless. These were the 3 essence, qi, and spirit flowers. It represented that Ling Xiao's physical body, primordial spirit, and primordial spirit had all reached a kind of extreme. Ling Xiao opened his eyes, and 2 rays of divine light shot out, causing the void to tremble violently. Not bad, not bad. You passed the tribulation of black water and tribulation of heavenly wind in one go. As long as you settle down for a while and pass the tribulation of blazing fire, you will be able to reach the supremacy realm. I almost thought that you were done for. The old goat walked around Ling Xiao and clicked his tongue in praise. It's just the tribulation of 3 symbols. You, on the other hand, actually managed to walk in front of me. 3rd level Supreme Supremacy Realm Cultivation. Looks like it won't be long before you fully recover your strength. Ling Xiao glanced at the old goat. Although the old goat's cultivation was only at the 3rd level Supreme Supremacy Realm, Ling Xiao could feel that there was an incomparably terrifying energy in the old goat's body. Once it erupted, it would probably cause even a titled supremacy to tremble in fear. After all, the old goat's father, the demon sage, was a supremacy realm expert. Even if he only left a portion of his strength, it was already terrifying enough. Ling Xiao felt that if the old goat completely digested that energy, he might be able to obtain a titled supremacy realm expert. Hee, who am I? I can do whatever I want in Time Moon Grotto. Not to mention supremes, even titled supremes can't do anything to me. The next time we meet the successor of the War God Temple, I'll help you teach them a lesson. The old goat said with a proud smile. The illusory demon ancient tree was completely devoured, leaving behind 36 resplendent illusory demon tree cores. Each of them was like a full moon, dazzling and pure. Ling Xiao and the old goat each took 18 illusory demon tree hearts. They contained the most boundless vitality and were comparable to quasi-divine medicine. They could be used to refine elixirs or consumed directly. If consumed, even a supreme being expert could extend his life by 1,000 years. What happened outside? Ling Xiao looked at the old goat and asked. He didn't expect that half a year had passed since he started cultivating. He thought that the titled supremes of the demon city would attack, but he didn't expect that there would be no response. I'm afraid you didn't expect it either. The 3 titled supreme martial artists of the City of Demons actually still retained their original intelligence. By killing the illusory demonic ancient tree, we have saved their lives. Now, we have 3 more super fighters, ha ha ha. The old goat laughed proudly. He already knew what happened outside the Demon Saint Palace. After waiting for half a year, Yu Chongshan, Lingji, and Maha were getting impatient. Bai Zai, I think you're just making things up. It's been half a year and there's still no movement from the Demon Saint Palace. You won't even let us in to take a look. I think you're hiding something. Lingji looked coldly at Demon Venerable Bai Zai. Yu Chongshan smiled bitterly and said, Bai Zai, if what you said is true, it shouldn't be a problem to let us in to take a look, right? It's been half a year, how long do we have to wait? No. The young lord is cultivating in the Demon Saint Palace. No one is allowed to enter. Demon Venerable Bai Zai shook his head and looked very determined. That's right. Unless the young lord comes out of seclusion, no one is allowed to enter the Demon Saint Palace. Demon Venerable Divine Crane and Demon Venerable Tyrannical Tiger also said firmly. Brother Yu, why are you talking so much nonsense with them? Just rush in. I suspect that there must be some shady business going on in the Demon Saint Palace. The so-called young lord is just an excuse they made up. Lingji snorted coldly. 3 clan leaders, what I said is true. If you want to deal with us, we have no objections. But if you dare to disturb the young lord's cultivation, don't blame us for being impolite. Bai Zai said slowly with a sharp glint in his eyes. Demon Venerable Divine Crane and Demon Venerable Tyrannical Tiger also walked up and stood side by side with Demon Venerable Bai Zai. They looked at Yu Chongshan and the other 2 with vigilance. The atmosphere instantly became very tense. What are you trying to do? The 4 major tribes are of the same breath and branch, and yet they're fighting each other. What a great ability. A lazy voice suddenly sounded. Buzz. The Demon Saint Palace shone brightly and the 2 ancient doors slowly opened. Ling Xiao and the old goat walked out together. Young friend Ling. What are you doing here? Yu Chongshan saw Ling Xiao at a glance and asked in surprise. He thought that Ling Xiao had left half a year ago. He didn't expect Ling Xiao to be in the Demon Saint Palace. And who was the old goat? The old goat looked very sturdy. His black fur was shiny and his goat face was filled with a lazy smile. His small eyes were slightly squinted and emitted rays of light. In the old goat's hand was a black scepter that looked very ancient. Buzz. The moment the old goat appeared, the scepter in his hand emitted a resplendent light and formed a mysterious connection with the huge Demon Saint statue in front of the Demon Saint Palace. The Demon Saint statue trembled slightly and a strange fluctuation spread out. The Demon Saint seemed to have opened his eyes and his gaze fell on the old goat. The old goat's expression was a little complicated and sad. He looked at the demon saint statue and said, "Old man, you can go in peace. I will complete all your burdens for you." Bang! The demon saint's scepter shook slightly on the ground and a strange light shrouded the entire demon city with the old goat as the center. Rumble. In the entire demon city, all the creatures controlled by the illusory demon ancient tree or possessed by the extraterritorial demon exploded and died completely. In the entire demon city, tens of thousands of people disappeared completely in an instant. Demon Venerable Baizé, Demon Venerable Divine Crane, and Demon Venerable Tyrannical Tiger no longer hesitated and knelt down respectfully in front of the old goat. "Greetings, young master." Chapter 806. Although the three demon sovereigns did not know the old goat, they recognized the demon saint's scepter. The demon saint's scepter emitted an aura that made their blood boil. When the demon saint's scepter appeared, it represented the appearance of the leader of the demon race. Hundreds of millions of demons submitted to him. That boundless divine power directly caused all the cultivators who had been possessed by the celestial demons to vanish. The demon saint's son. Yu Chongshan, Lingji, and Maha were shocked as they looked at the old goat. They did not expect that this ordinary-looking goat would be the demon saint's son, the young lord that the three demon sovereigns spoke of. "Patriarch Yu, long time no see." Ling Xiao looked at Yu Chongshan and smiled slightly. Little friend Ling Xiao seems to have obtained a great opportunity in the demon saint's palace. "You actually passed the black water tribulation and heavenly wind tribulation in one go." Yu Chongshan looked deeply at Ling Xiao and said with emotion. When the three tribes besieged the city of the moon, Ling Xiao had just passed the earth tribulation. They did not expect that in just half a year, he would pass two tribulations in a row. This cultivation speed made Yu Chongshan gasp in amazement. "I was just lucky." Ling Xiao smiled. "You are the demon saint's son." The three of them said that they were controlled by the illusory demon ancient tree. "Is that true?" Lingji looked suspiciously at the old goat and said. "Everyone, the four tribes are as close as a family. We protect the god of war together. The city of demons is indeed a little special." Back then, the demon saints suppressed the illusory demon ancient tree. However, after 1,000,000 years, the illusory demon ancient tree found a loophole and controlled the people of the city of demons. Therefore, the damage caused to the three tribes was not their intention. Fortunately, the illusory demon ancient tree has been killed by us. I hope that the four tribes can be reconciled in the future. The old goat looked at the three patriarchs and smiled faintly. "Humph. It's easy for you to say. Even if they were controlled by the illusory demon ancient tree, their hands are stained with the blood of our tribesmen. They must pay the price," Lingji said with some resentment. Baizé looked at the old goat and said, "Young lord, as long as you say the word, we three brothers will stretch our necks out and kill ourselves to appease the world." "That's right. Young master, we three brothers will bear the consequences of our own mistakes. Please give the order," Domineering Tiger said in a muffled voice. The old goat didn't look at the three demon sovereigns. Instead, his gaze landed on the Ganoderma mountain. He flatly said, "What kind of price does the spirit clan leader want them to pay?" "Let's do as the three demon venerables said. Let them commit suicide. As long as they die, our three tribes will no longer pursue Demon City's crimes," Lingji said indifferently. At this moment, Ling Xiao finally took a good look at this Lingji clan leader. Lingji was dressed in a palace dress. She had a graceful figure and looked to be in her 30s. She was quite beautiful, but at this moment, her face was cold and her lips were very thin. She gave people a feeling that she was harsh and ungrateful. Her tone was rather aggressive, insisting that the three demon venerables commit suicide to atone for their sins. Do the chiefs of the Moon tribe and the Buddha tribe have the same opinion? The old goat's smile turned cold as he glanced at Yu Chongshan and Maha. Ling Xiao knew that this was the sign of the old goat's anger. Lingji's words had probably angered him. Yu Chongshan frowned and looked at Lingji, saying, "Sister Lingji, where it's possible to let people off, one should spare them. The demon venerables of Demon City have already died in our hands. It can be considered as revenge for those people. These 3 city lords were only controlled by the illusory demon ancient tree. They were not free to do anything. I think we should just forget about it. Maha also nodded and said, that's right. Now that Demon City has suffered heavy losses, if the 3 city lords commit suicide, then the demon tribe will really be destroyed. Moreover, outsiders have gathered in the Flowing Time Cave and are about to open the Flowing Time Shrine. Our 4 tribes need to guard the Flowing Time Shrine. Spirit Clan leader, please be lenient. No. They must commit suicide. My father, my grandfather, and countless experts of my spirit tribe have all died in the hands of Demon City. I must avenge this. What does the destruction of their demon tribe have to do with me? Today, the 3 of them must die. Lingji was incomparably stubborn. She did not even give face to Yu Chongshan and Maha as she looked coldly at the 3 demon venerables. Young master, please give the order. I am willing to commit suicide to atone for my sins. Baizé demon venerable's face was also slightly angry as he cupped his hands and bowed to the old goat. Young master, what do you mean by the destruction of our demon tribe has to do with her? This wicked woman's mouth is too annoying. Young master, you should let us commit suicide to avoid being bullied by this wicked woman. Domineering Tiger Demon Venerable said in a muffled voice, his face full of anger. Young master, please die. Divine Crane Demon Venerable also said coldly. Obviously, Lingji's words had angered the 3 demon venerables. However, Demon City was in the wrong and they could not vent their anger, so they only asked for death. Domineering Tiger, who are you calling a wicked woman? If you have the ability, you can call me that again. Do you believe that I won't cut off your tongue? Lingji's gaze turned cold as she stared at Domineering Tiger Demon Venerable. Wicked woman. Wicked woman. Wicked woman. So what if I called you that? If young master did not allow me to do it, I would have chopped you to death with my axe. Domineering Tiger Demon Venerable's bell-sized eyes widened as if flames were about to spew out from his eyes. You're courting death. Lingji exuded a cold aura as if she was about to go berserk. All of you, shut up. The old goat suddenly roared. His voice was like thunder, shocking everyone. The 3 of you are all members of my demon tribe. I did not agree to your deaths, so who dares to kill you? You have to admit your mistakes, but we, the demon tribe, cannot be trampled on by others without resistance. The old goat glared at the 3 demon venerables. Although he was scolding the 3 demon venerables, his words were all directed at Lingji. Lingji's face instantly turned ugly. Spirit tribe leader, you keep saying that the demon tribe has killed many of our spirit tribe members. Then why didn't you come to take revenge? Why did you wait for me to destroy the illusory demon ancient tree before you came here to show off? Do you think my demon tribe members can commit suicide just because you say so? I respect your spirit tribe's ancestor, the spirit elder, who was one of the 4 divine generals of the god of war like my father. But who do you think you are? Do you have the right to criticize us? The old goat stared at Lingji and sneered. He was not polite at all. The old goat's words instantly caused Lingji's face to turn green. Ha ha ha, the son of the demon sage. The demon sage has been dead for millions of years. You, a black-furred beast from God knows where, dare to call yourself the son of the demon sage? Don't think that just because you have the demon sage's scepter, you are the son of the demon sage. My spirit tribe will not admit it. Since they are not willing to commit suicide, then the demon tribe can wait for my spirit tribe's revenge. Chapter 807. Lingji's words caused Yu Chongshan, Maha, and the 3 demon sovereigns' expressions to change. She was openly questioning the identity of the old goat. It could even be said that she was insulting him. Sister Lingji, you've gone too far. Yu Chongshan said with some dissatisfaction. Leader Ling, the demon saint is the divine general under the war god. His descendants should be respected by the 4 tribes. You've disappointed us. Maha also shook his head. How dare you? Lingji, it's fine if you scold us, but you dare to scold the young master? Do you really think we won't dare to kill you? Demon Venerable Baizai, Demon Venerable Divine Crane, and Demon Venerable Domineering Tiger were all enraged. Their eyes were filled with fury as they locked onto Lingji. Ha ha ha. Good. Very good. Black-furred beast? Leader Lingji, are you courting death? The old goat's eyes flashed coldly as he laughed out loud. The murderous intent on his face grew thicker. Holy Son, please calm down. Sister Lingji did not mean it. Please don't lower yourself to her level. Yu Chongshan knew that something was wrong and quickly pleaded with the old goat. Ling Xiao did not say anything and just watched coldly. For some reason, Ling Xiao felt a very familiar aura from Lingji, but he didn't know where this familiar feeling came from. This is the aura of the War God Temple. This Lingji's aura is very similar to that of the White Tiger Guardian King. Could she be one of the 4 Guardian Kings? Ling Xiao suddenly thought of something. His eyes widened as he thought to himself. The 3 demon sovereigns were all ferocious. The murderous intent that filled the air made Lingji's eyes flash. She also knew that if she continued to fight, she would not be able to get away with it. Lingji coldly snorted and gave the old goat a deep look before turning his head away. Seeing that the old goat was about to explode, Ling Xiao quickly said, "Don't be in a hurry to deal with her. There's something wrong with this Lingji. I suspect that she's related to the War God Temple." War God Temple? Was he really a traitor who lived off one person while helping another? Let's just kill her today. The old goat was enraged as murderous intent filled his body. This isn't a good place to fight. If we kill Lingji now, we won't have any evidence. I'm afraid we'll offend Yu Chongshan and Maha and force them to join hands to deal with the demon tribe. That would be unwise. Let's keep her alive and wait for her to give herself away. Ling Xiao said indifferently. All right. If this wretch is really from the War God Temple, then she's dead for sure. Even the War God Temple won't be able to save her. Old Goat is clearly very depressed. However, he also knows that this is not a good time to make a move. Big brother you, big brother Mo he, I'll take my leave first. Let's meet again when the temple opens. There was no point in staying any longer. Lingji coldly snorted and said goodbye to Maha and Yu Chongshan before leading the spirit tribe away. Your Highness, I'll take my leave now. Please don't lower yourself to Lingji's level. I'll try to persuade her. She's just too stubborn because of her father and grandfather's death. Yu Chongshan sighed. Holy Son, I'll take my leave too. Maha also said to Old Goat. After Lingji left, Yu Chongshan and Maha also took their leave. Before leaving, Yu Chongshan also asked Ling Xiao if he wanted to return with them. Ling Xiao told Yu Chongshan that he would return to the Moon City after the matters in the Demon City were settled. After the 3 tribes left, Old Goat couldn't help but ask, Ling Xiao, is that Lingji really from the War God Temple? I'm just guessing. It's very likely that she's one of the 4 great guardian kings of the War God Temple, but I can't be sure. We still have to find evidence. Ling Xiao said slowly. What? War God Temple? That traitorous bitch, we should have killed her just now. Tyrant Tiger Demon Venerable's temper was the most explosive. When he heard Ling Xiao say that Lingji was from the War God Temple, he couldn't help but curse. Everyone, calm down. Whether Lingji is from the War God Temple or not, we'll know when the Flowing Time Temple opens. Old Goat said slowly. Ling Xiao, you're finally out. At this moment, Mu Xian's incomparably surprised voice suddenly entered Ling Xiao's mind. Mu Xian. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. He had almost forgotten about this guy from the Tomb King City. He didn't expect that after half a year, this guy was still stubbornly waiting. It must have been hard on him. Old Goat led the 3 venerables to consolidate the forces of the Demon City while Ling Xiao flew out of the city. On a mountain peak outside the demon city, Mu Xian's eyes were filled with incomparable joy. Ling Xiao, you're finally out. I've waited for more than half a year and almost gave up. But I knew that you were lucky and wouldn't die in the hands of the illusory demon tree. Where's the stone tablet? Quickly take it out for me to see. Mu Xian hurriedly said. I was delayed for a bit in the demon saint palace, but fortunately, I've obtained the stone tablet. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. With a flash of light in his hand, the ancient stone tablet appeared in the void. The stone tablet had a chaotic color, ancient and mysterious. A mysterious scripture was engraved on it, flowing with traces of fate. After looking at it, Ling Xiao confirmed that it was indeed the 9th chapter of destiny. Ha ha ha, this is the stone tablet, I've finally found it. Mu Xian's face was filled with incomparable ecstasy as he reached out to take the stone tablet. But with a flash of light in Ling Xiao's palm, the stone tablet was immediately put away by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, what is the meaning of this? Mu Xian's expression was somewhat ugly. Mu Xian, I said that I would help you find the 9th chapter of destiny, but I didn't say that I would give this stone tablet to you, right? I will make a copy of the 9th chapter for you, so don't even think about this stone tablet. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Mu Xian didn't give up and said, Ling Xiao, this stone tablet only records the 9th chapter of destiny. There's nothing special about it, and it's also not a treasure. Just give it to me. In the future, you will be an esteemed guest of the Tomb King city. Whether it's supreme weapons, supreme pills, or godly medicines, as long as you're willing, we can exchange them with you. Mu Xian, you're still hiding it from me. If I'm not wrong, what your Tomb King city cares about the most isn't the 9th chapter of destiny, but this stone tablet. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a trace of light flashed in his eyes. Ling Xiao's words were like a thunderclap, causing Mu Xian's expression to change. How did you know? I guessed. Chapter 808. It was because Mu Xian was too anxious that Ling Xiao couldn't help but suspect that there was some secret hidden within the stone tablet. Moreover, the 9th chapter of Heavenly Mandate was recorded on the tablet. When Ling Xiao obtained the tablet, he already had his suspicions. To be treasured by the Beast Overlord and placed together with the Beast Overlord's divine blood and a divine herb, it definitely wasn't as simple as the 9th chapter of Heavenly Mandate. Mu Xian laughed bitterly and said, Ling Xiao, as expected, nothing can be hidden from your eyes. The 9th chapter of Heavenly Mandate is indeed very important to my Tomb King city, but this tablet is even more important. Oh. What do you mean? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Mu Xian said, this matter is the highest secret of our Tomb King city, it was also told to me by my great-grandfather. This stone tablet is called the Heavenly Tao Primal Chaos Tablet, there are a total of 9 of them and they contain the Heavenly Tao. More importantly, if you can gather all 9 Heavenly Tao Primal Chaos Tablets, you can forcefully open the door to the God world and enter it. What? 9 Heavenly Tao Primal Chaos Tablets and you can enter the God world? Ling Xiao's eyes widened. He had never heard of such a secret before. Now, Ling Xiao could already confirm that it was very likely due to the invasion of the extraterrestrial demons a million years ago that caused some kind of unforeseen event to occur in the God realm, causing the God realm's gate to close. From then on, no one in the myriad of worlds could ascend to the God realm since a million years ago. Even the heaven's path that Ling Xiao saw at the 5-colored sacred mountain was severed. Without ascending to the God world, there was no way to break through to the God spirit realm and obtain a long lifespan. Even Supremes could only live for 10,000 years, how could they be willing to accept that? However, this was the first time Ling Xiao heard of the Heavenly Tao Primal Chaos Tablet. This information is extremely secretive. My Tomb King city only managed to obtain a few traces from the ancient ruins. The 9 Heavenly Tao Primal Chaos Tablets are very likely to be items from the God world. It is unknown why they would fall into the ancient era or even the immemorial era. I dare say that in the entire War God world, there are no more than 3 holy lands that know about this. Mu Xian said honestly. This is indeed a shocking piece of news. If this news were to spread, I'm afraid all the Supremes would go crazy. That was a supreme opportunity to enter the immortal realm. Most likely, no one would be willing to miss it. Looks like the old city lord Mu Tianji is still hiding something from me. Ling Xiao looked at Mu Xian with a smile that was not a smile. Mu Xian smiled bitterly and said, Ling Xiao, this matter is too serious. Great-grandfather is also more cautious, so please don't blame him. It's all right. I'm very curious, since the Tomb King city knows about the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet, I'm afraid they have already obtained it? Ling Xiao asked. That's right. My Tomb King city obtained one Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablet, the Great Lightning Toon Temple has 2, and the War God Temple should have 4. Including the one in your hands, there are a total of 8 Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablets. There is still one more that is still missing. Mu Xian didn't hide anything and told him everything. There are already 8 Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablets. No wonder the successor of the War God Hall and Buddhist son Kasayapa fought over this stone steel. Ling Xiao thought back to the Beast Saint Palace. The successor of the War God Hall and Buddhist son Kasayapa both had their own ulterior motives. At that time, Ling Xiao was puzzled. The 9th chapter of Heaven's Mandate could be comprehended together. Why did they have to fight? So what they cared about the most wasn't the 9th chapter of Heaven's Mandate, but the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet. Why is the 9th chapter of Heaven's Mandate recorded on the Primal Chaos Tablet? Ling Xiao looked at Mu Xian and asked. I'm not sure about this. I don't know why the Beast Saint left behind the 9th chapter of Heaven's Mandate. But the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet that our Tomb King city obtained, there was nothing left on it. Mu Xian said. Ling Xiao, now that you know about the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet, can you sell it to our Tomb King city? No matter what the conditions are, our Tomb King city will agree. Mu Xian looked at Ling Xiao fervently and said. Ling Xiao looked at Mu Xian and didn't agree immediately. Instead, he asked, Mu Xian, even if we gather all 9 Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablets and can open the door to the God world, we are still missing the last one. And even if we find the last one, can Tomb King City snatch the remaining Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet from the Great Lightning Toon Temple and War God Hall? Mu Xian said, the Great Lightning Toon Temple and War God Hall are powers that have existed for hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. They are unfathomable. Although our Tomb King City isn't afraid of them, to snatch the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet from their hands is basically impossible. But we can work together and open the door to the God world together. Ling Xiao, we can leave a slot for you. According to what you said, even if there are 9 Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablets to open the door to the God world, there is a limit to the number of slots? No wonder they didn't want to spread this news. When the time comes, for a slot to enter the God world, I'm afraid everyone will fight. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Although I don't want to admit it, it is the truth. Mu Xian nodded. I'm sorry, Mu Xian. I can give you the 9th piece of destiny, but I still want to study the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet. Since you said it, when the time comes, everyone will work together. The problem is to find the 9th piece of Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet first. Ling Xiao looked at Mu Xian and rejected him directly. Although he was already mentally prepared, Mu Xian was still disappointed. He could only sigh and say, all right. It's fine if you don't want to give me the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet, but you have to be careful of War God Hall's successor and Buddhist disciple Jia Yi. They already know that the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet is with you. Even if they can't do anything to you in the time cave, once you leave, they will definitely harm you. War God Hall's successor and Buddhist disciple Jia Yi. I will be careful. Many thanks. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. In the end, he gave a copy of the 9th piece of destiny to Mu Xian. Mu Xian left Demon City and used a secret technique to leave the time cave. He came here for the 9th piece of destiny and the Heavenly Dao Primal Chaos Tablet, not for the Heaven's Choice Convention. Since he had succeeded, there was no need for him to stay. Ling Xiao stood on the peak of the mountain, the wind blowing around him, blowing his hair. Ling Xiao had a thoughtful look in his eyes. Ling Xiao, I didn't expect that stone tablet to be the heavenly Tao primal chaos tablet. This is truly an earth-shattering piece of news. Beside Ling Xiao, the void rippled like water and the old goat silently walked out. So when Ling Xiao saw Mu Xian, the old goat secretly followed him. Chapter 809. Nope. The old goat shook his head and said, when I was in the holy ground, I received the old man's inheritance. The old man only mentioned the demon tribe in the time cave and the illusory demon ancient tree. As for these three treasures, he didn't leave behind any useful information. After saying that, the old goat took out the demon saint's divine blood and the divine medicine. The demon saint's divine blood looked like a dazzling sun, exuding a vigorous and majestic aura. This was a drop of real divine blood. Not only could it increase the old goat's cultivation, but it could also make his bloodline stronger. As for the divine medicine, it looked like a ginseng. Its entire body was as white as jade, and its roots could pierce through the void to absorb energy. It was very strange. It contained a majestic power of essence, but it did not have the slightest bit of intelligence. Could this be the legendary witchcraft snow ginseng? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought of a legendary divine medicine. The witchcraft snow ginseng was said to be too heaven-defying and was restricted by the laws of heaven. It couldn't develop spiritual intelligence at all. It had to go through a minor tribulation every 1,000 years and a major tribulation every 10,000 years. It would take 100,000 years for it to grow into a supreme divine medicine. Therefore, the witchcraft snow ginseng that could become a divine medicine had only appeared in legends. The witchcraft snow ginseng could increase the possibility of becoming a titled honorable. Even Long Lion Fire Phoenix Supreme took a few thousand years to break through from the 9th level supreme realm to the titled honorable. This showed how difficult it was to become a titled honorable. However, this witchcraft snow ginseng could allow a 9th level supreme realm expert to become a titled honorable. Witchcraft snow ginseng, hee, good stuff. Looks like it won't be long before I can recover the cultivation of my previous life and become a titled honorable. Ling Xiao, I might even be ahead of you. Ha ha ha. The old goat said proudly. In his previous life, he was only a 9th level supreme realm expert and didn't become a titled honorable. Looking at the current situation, it wouldn't be long before the old goat could cultivate to the 9th level supreme realm. At that time, with the witchcraft snow ginseng, he could become a titled honorable. Yes, this witch spirit snow ginseng is indeed a good thing. Ling Xiao smiled. He was a titled supreme warrior in his previous life. Although he was reborn, his realm was still there. It might be difficult for others to break through to the titled realm, but for Ling Xiao, it was not difficult at all. Wang. The Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet appeared in Ling Xiao's palm. The Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet was covered in a gray primal chaos light. It was ancient and mottled, and on top of it were ancient runes with the 9th chapter of Heaven's Will. Can the legendary Heaven's Will secret law, the 9 chapters of Heaven's Will, be able to change fate? Why did the old man leave the 9th chapter on the tablet? The old goat was curious. Looking at the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet in front of him, Ling Xiao had a feeling that there might be some secret hidden within. Ling Xiao suddenly had an epiphany, and he began to circulate the Great Fate Divination technique. A mysterious power of destiny began to spread out. Rumble. The Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet in front of him began to tremble, and it emitted a mysterious aura. It actually formed a mysterious resonance with the Great Fate Divination technique. On the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet, there seemed to be a mysterious world hidden within. Heaven and earth trembled, and 9 mysterious scrolls appeared in front of Ling Xiao. They flowed with a mysterious power, as though they were describing the laws of heaven and earth. This is the 9 chapters of Heaven's Will. Ling Xiao was shocked. The 9 scrolls in front of him, from the general outline to the 9th chapter of Heaven's Will, were completely presented in front of Ling Xiao. It turned out that this Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet actually recorded the complete 9 chapters of Heaven's Will. Ling Xiao stood there in a daze. The 9 chapters of heavens will instantly merged into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, becoming one with the Great Fate divination technique. The Great Fate divination technique was originally incomparably mysterious. It was a supreme technique left behind by the high priest of the Shura race. However, Ling Xiao did not expect it to be related to the 9 chapters of heaven's will. Weng. At this moment, the wordless heavenly book began to tremble, and a mysterious light spread out. The 9 chapters of heaven's will, the Great Fate divination technique, and the wordless heavenly book formed a mysterious resonance. Rumble. The wordless heavenly scripture devoured the illusion demon ancient tree and was about to form the next supreme art. However, the 9 chapters of heaven's mandate and the heaven's mandate art merged into the scripture like a ray of light. On the second page of the wordless heavenly book, a few ancient and mysterious words appeared. Second heaven's star border, secret technique of destiny. Incomplete, the wordless heavenly book dimmed as the energy that it had devoured from the illusion demon ancient tree was suddenly depleted. It was as though the wordless heavenly book had used up a lot of energy to form this secret technique. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He originally thought that the power of the illusory demon ancient tree would at least be able to condense one of the top 10 secret arts in the heavenly star border realm. In the end, it had indeed condensed the second-ranked secret art of destiny, but it was incomplete. Ling Xiao could feel that this secret technique of destiny was only 1/10 complete. It was incomplete by more than half. The Great Fate divination technique and the 9 chapters of heaven's will were all part of the secret technique of destiny. It was no wonder that they could form a resonance with the wordless heavenly book. Unaffected by reincarnation, untainted by karma, transcending the heavenly Tao, immortal and indestructible. The opening of the secret technique of destiny was just these words. It emitted a power that made the world tremble, and even Ling Xiao's soul trembled. Unaffected by reincarnation, untainted by karma, transcending the heavenly Tao, immortal and indestructible. I'm afraid that even gods can't do this. This secret technique of destiny is truly terrifying, but it's a pity that I can't comprehend it at all. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly as he muttered to himself. The secret technique of destiny was too mysterious. Even 1/10 of it wasn't something that Ling Xiao could comprehend right now. Ling Xiao could vaguely feel that after he obtained the secret technique of destiny, his entire body suddenly relaxed, as though he had broken free from some kind of shackle. Compared to the secret technique of destiny, the 9 chapters of heaven's will and the Great Fate divination technique were also very difficult to comprehend, but they were much easier to comprehend. Ling Xiao originally felt that this Heaven's Choice Convention would be a situation of 9 deaths and 1 life, but after he obtained the secret technique of destiny, that feeling of danger was greatly reduced. It's too mysterious. Perhaps even gods can't grasp the power of destiny. I wonder what the origin of this wordless heavenly book is. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Even a supreme divine tool was nothing in front of the wordless heavenly book. Chapter 8:10. Ling Xiao, is there something wrong with this primal chaos tablet? Old Goat asked curiously. He saw Ling Xiao activate the Heaven Tao primal chaos tablet and countless streams of light entered Ling Xiao's body. In this Heaven Tao primal chaos tablet, there is the complete 9 writings of destiny. Ling Xiao told the Old Goat the news he received. 9 writings of destiny. It's only said to be able to change the fate of Tung King City and Feng Shui families, but it's not accurate. Ling Xiao, the Heaven's Choice Conference is about to begin, we have to hurry. Old Goat immediately lost interest when he heard about the 9 writings of destiny and changed the topic. You want to participate in the Heaven's Choice Conference too? Ling Xiao looked at Old Goat with some surprise. Of course, do you think the War God Temple is hosting the Heaven's Choice Conference? In reality, the Heaven's Choice Conference is a training ground left behind by the Scarlet Dragon War God to find his successor. There are endless fortunes inside, even sovereigns can obtain great benefits. It's said that no one has been able to reach the end of the Heaven's Choice Conference. But if you obtain the wordless heavenly book, you might be able to become the successor of the Scarlet Dragon War God. At that time, you'll be able to command the 4 great tribes. Old Goat said slowly. I also thought of this point. The War God Temple has been hosting the Heaven's Choice Conference and promised so many benefits. Of course, it's not to benefit others. I'm afraid it's all for the Scarlet Dragon War God's inheritance. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a trace of sharpness appeared in his eyes. It seemed that he would have to go against the War God Temple sooner or later. There were still a few months before the Heaven's Choice Conference began. Although this place was a few million miles away from the War God Temple, with the strength of a titled sovereign, he could quickly reach the Flowing Time Temple by tearing through the void. Thus, Ling Xiao prepared to return to the City of the Moon and meet up with Old Goat, Phoenix Maiden, and Moon Goddess. Then, he would find Long Zhantian and the others and go to the Flowing Time Temple together. After Old Goat finished dealing with the matters of Demon City, the 3 demon sovereigns gathered the remaining experts of Demon City. This time, the demon tribe could be said to have suffered heavy losses. Besides those who died at the hands of the geniuses and those who were killed by the Demon Saint's scepter, there were less than 10,000 people left. However, all of them were the elites of Demon City, and merely the experts at the Monarch Realm and above numbered over 1,000. The Old Goat ordered the 3 demon venerables to integrate the experts of Demon City according to the situation of the secular army and set up a large spirit-gathering formation to cultivate. According to Ling Xiao and the Old Goat's conjecture, if the Flowing Time Temple really wanted to choose the successor of the Scarlet Dragon War God, then there would definitely be a battle between the Flowing Time Temple and the War God Temple. Ling Xiao and the Old Goat returned to the City of the Moon. In the City of the Moon, Ling Xiao saw Yu Chongshan, but found that Long Outyen, Moon God, and Phoenix Lady had already left. Young friend Ling, I didn't expect them to leave the City of the Moon. When I came back, they had already left and left you a letter. Yu Chongshan said as he handed Ling Xiao a letter left behind by Long Outyen. Ling Xiao opened the letter and saw a few lines of crooked words written on it. Cousin, the matter is urgent, so I took my 2 sisters-in-law and left first. Big Brother and the others found a divine spring, and when they were cultivating, they were ambushed by those bastards from Emperor Tomb Mountain and were trapped there. The situation is extremely dangerous, so I went to save Big Brother. This is the map that Big Brother sent me. If you come back, come look for us. This time, I'll definitely slaughter those bastards from Emperor Tomb Mountain. That little bastard is getting more and more presumptuous. Long Outyen is trapped, and the 3 of them have only just passed the Earth Tribulation. What can they do? Ling Xiao's face instantly darkened, and he was furious at Long Outyen's recklessness. Ling Xiao suppressed the worry in his heart and hurriedly asked, Patriarch Yu, how long has it been since they left? Did something happen? They left 3 days ago. If there's anything you need help with, don't hesitate to ask. Yu Chongshan didn't know the contents of the letter and said to Ling Xiao. Many thanks, Patriarch Yu. I can deal with this matter myself. I'll take my leave first. Goodbye. Ling Xiao said to Yu Chongshan and immediately left the City of the Moon with the Old Goat. This place is more than 300,000 miles away from the City of the Moon. Without Yan's speed, even if they fly at full speed, it will take nearly 3 days. I hope we can make it in time. Ling Xiao said slowly. The Old Goat said, Don't worry. Long Outyen is an eccentric brat. He shouldn't be in any danger. Let's go now, and we should be able to reach soon. Kacha. The Demon Saint waved his scepter, and the void instantly split open. Ling Xiao and the Old Goat stepped into the void and rushed towards the location recorded on the map. Tearing the void and using the greater teleportation technique was hundreds of times faster than flying. In less than 2 hours, Ling Xiao and the Old Goat crossed 300,000 miles and arrived at an unfamiliar mountain range. Ling Xiao and the Old Goat stood in the void, and below them was an endless mountain range. The mountains towered into the sky, but there was no vegetation in the mountain range. It was barren and emitted a blazing aura. Rumble. There was a mountain in the distance that suddenly spewed out a huge stream of magma. Immediately, smoke billowed, and heaven and earth trembled. An incomparably hot aura rushed towards them. This was actually a volcanic mountain range. Let's go. Ling Xiao and the old goat concealed their auras and turned into streaks of light, flying rapidly in the direction of the divine spring pool. In a huge valley, 3 huge volcanoes, at least 10,000 feet tall, emitted a brown light and spewed out bright flames. At the intersection of the 3 volcanoes, this valley was formed. The valley was filled with red clouds, and the spiritual energy was incomparably abundant. At the center of the valley was an ancient stone pool. The stone pool was 30 feet wide, and the pool was filled with golden divine spring. It looked crystal clear, like nectar, and emitted an intoxicating fragrance. Long Zhantian, Li Jingming, and Lin Hui sat cross-legged in the stone pool, looking very miserable. Their faces were extremely pale, and the corners of their mouths were full of blood. Especially Long Zhantian, who had a large hole in his chest. He had suffered heavy injuries. Above the stone pool, a red ancient cauldron floated. It was dazzling and emitted a gorgeous light. Strands of runes fell down, forming a powerful barrier that enveloped the 3 of them. Li Jingming and Lin Hui were pouring their energy into the ancient cauldron to maintain the barrier. Rumble. Chapter 8:11. The leader was a middle-aged man in a white robe. His gaze was indifferent and his aura was powerful. His entire body exuded a terrifying Supreme Being aura. The middle-aged man in a white robe was already a 6th-level Supreme Being. It was his attack that caused the barrier to tremble violently as if it would shatter at any time. Beside the middle-aged man in a white robe stood 2 dignified and extraordinary young men. One of them was in a black robe. His black hair fluttered in the wind and his eyes were filled with killing intent. His entire body exuded a mysterious death chi. The other was a burly young man in a red armor. His eyes were radiant as he looked at the stone pool in front of him. His eyes were filled with passion. Both of them were half-step Supreme Beings of the 4 symbols tribulation. They were using powerful techniques to attack the stone pool. Rumble. A fire phoenix flew out from the red ancient cauldron, exuding blazing flames. The runes on the barrier shone brightly and blocked all the attacks. However, Li Jingming and Lin Hui's faces were pale. They were like arrows at the end of their flight and could not hold on for long. Brother Li, Brother Lin, I am the one who dragged you down. If you wanted to save me, you wouldn't have stayed here to die. Long Zhantian smiled bitterly as his eyes were filled with guilt. Long Zhantian, what nonsense are you talking about? If you didn't protect us and block their sneak attack, we wouldn't have suffered such heavy injuries. Li Jingming glared at him and said coldly. That's right. Brother Long, Ling Xiao will definitely come to save us. With his strength, he will definitely have a way to escape. Lin Hui also said. Long Zhantian smiled bitterly and shook his head. That's impossible. That is a 6th-level Supreme Being. Even if Ling Xiao came, he would not be a match for him. Brothers, I am the one who dragged you down. If the barrier is broken later, I will commit suicide. I will not let the bastards of Emperor Tomb Mountain and Nantian family succeed. Long Zhantian's eyes were filled with determination. The young man in a black robe was the first holy son of Emperor Tomb Mountain. The young man in red armor was an expert of Nantian family, Nantian Fang. After Long Zhantian, Li Jingming, and Lin Hui separated from Ling Xiao, the 3 of them stayed together in the time cave to gain experience. They killed vicious beasts and sharpened their cultivation. They had found this divine spring by accident. It was formed by a trace of divine power from a godly spirit master. It had merged with the dragon vein of the earth, forming a divine spring that would not stop gushing. Long Zhantian and the other 2 were cultivating in the divine spring pool. Long Zhantian was the first to break through, passing the 4 symbols tribulation. However, 3 days ago, when Long Zhantian was protecting Li Jingming and Lin Hui, the first holy son of the Emperor Tomb Mountain, Nantian Fang of the Nantian family, suddenly appeared with a group of experts and launched a sneak attack. If it was only the first saint and Nantian Fang, Long Zhantian would not be afraid. However, They had brought along a supreme being expert, the white-robed middle-aged man. His strength was extremely terrifying. Even though Long Zhantian had taken out his supreme weapon, he was still no match for the white-robed middle-aged man. In the end, Long Zhantian was severely injured by the white-robed middle-aged man in order to protect Li Jingming and Lin Hui. However, he had also bought time for Lin Hui and Li Jingming, allowing them to successfully pass the Four Symbols tribulation. Lin Hui and Li Jingming had activated the defensive barrier around the Divine Spring Pool. Lin Hui had even taken out the Fire Phoenix Divine Cauldron, a powerful supreme weapon, to suppress the eye of the formation. Only then could they barely withstand the white-robed middle-aged man's attack. However, 3 days had passed, and Lin Hui and Li Jingming were on the verge of exhaustion. Their cultivations had been completely depleted, and it would not be long before the spirit boundary would be broken. Long Zhantian, Li Jingming, Lin Hui, the enchantment is about to be broken. I advise you to obediently surrender and avoid physical pain. Otherwise, if you're not careful, you'll be killed by me. Don't blame me. The first saint looked indifferently at Long Zhantian and the other two, his voice incomparably cold. Your Highness the First Saint, what is there to say to them? Just kill them all. So many experts of the Emperor Tomb Mountain and the Nantian family died in the hands of that despicable and shameless Ling Xiao. They are all accomplices and deserve to die. Nantian Fang's eyes were blazing with killing intent. Although he looked very young, he was actually more than 1,000 years old. In the Holy Ground, the Nantian Sky King, who was killed by Ling Xiao, was his favorite grandson. Nantian Fang hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Naturally, he did not have a good impression of Long Zhantian and the others. He wanted to kill them as soon as possible. Lord Lingyu, we originally wanted to use these three as bait to lure Ling Xiao out. Unexpectedly, 3 days have passed and Ling Xiao still hasn't appeared. Since that's the case, I'll have to ask Lord Lingyu to take action and break this barrier. The three of them no longer have any value. The first saint looked at the white-robed middle-aged man beside him and smiled slightly. Okay. Lingyu nodded as a trace of sharpness appeared in his eyes. Boom. He took a step forward. Immediately, heaven and earth trembled. An incomparably terrifying aura spread out. He punched out, and a terrifying fist print landed on the barrier in front of him. In the past 3 days, they had indeed not tried their best to attack the enchantment. The reason was that the first saint wanted to lure Ling Xiao out and then let Lingyu kill him. Unexpectedly, Ling Xiao had not appeared after 3 days. The first saint had also lost his patience. Kacha! The barrier trembled violently. The Fire Phoenix Cauldron in the void also began to shake. The originally incomparably sturdy barrier was like a mirror as it exploded with a loud bang. Puff! Puff! Li Jingming and Lin Hui suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Their aura instantly weakened, and a trace of despair appeared in their eyes. Emperor Tomb Mountain, Nantian family, even if this crown prince dies, I will drag you down with me. Long Zhantian's eyes revealed a trace of madness. The aura around his body became incomparably violent. He actually wanted to self-destruct. The self-destruction of a half-step supreme being tribulation of 4 symbols would probably turn a few hundred miles of land into dust. Not to mention that Long Zhantian was a member of the Dragon Clan. With the Dragon Clan's bloodline, his strength was even more terrifying. Roar! At this moment, a terrifying dragon's roar exploded above the void. A dazzling golden true dragon soared through the sky, exuding a monstrous dragon's aura. It turned into an incomparably resplendent fist print, as if it had enveloped the heaven and earth. It blasted towards the white-robed middle-aged man, Lingyu. You bunch of bastards, how dare you sneak attack my big brother? Are you courting death? An incomparably arrogant voice resounded in the void, carrying an insufferably arrogant aura. It was a little boy of 8 or 9 years old. He looked like he was carved out of jade and was very cute. At this moment, his eyes were wide open, and his gaze was filled with anger as he soared through the sky. Outyen! Long Zhantian's body trembled, and his eyes revealed a trace of incomparable surprise. However, he immediately shouted, "Out Yan, you and Ling shall quickly leave. You are not their opponent. Don't worry about us." Chapter 8:12. Big brother, my cousin isn't here, but I can save you myself. This bunch of trash can't do anything to me. Long Outyan's eyes were filled with arrogance. Humph. Since you're here, don't leave. Ling Yu's eyes revealed a tinge of indifference. Facing the gigantic dragon in the sky, he threw out a punch as well. It was as though a mysterious world was rising, exuding a boundless aura, trying to suppress the gigantic dragon. Rumble. When the two fists collided, the space shook violently as if a divine sun had exploded. The terrifying dragon roar was boundless, and it shattered at the same time as the mysterious world. Chaotic energy lingered in the air, and the space rumbled. Long Outyan and Ling Yu both trembled and retreated at the same time. What? Not only the first Holy Sun and Nan Tianfang, but even Long Zhantian, Lin Hui, and Li Jingming were in disbelief. Long Outyan was on par with Ling Yu. One should know that Ling Yu was a level 6 Supreme Realm expert, and he was not someone an ordinary Supreme Realm expert could compare to. He was extremely powerful. However, the first Holy Sun and Nan Tianfang's expressions were extremely ugly. Long Zhantian, Lin Hui, and Li Jingming were pleasantly surprised. How is this possible? That little brat is only 8 or 9 years old, and he has already cultivated to the tribulation of one elephant. He can actually be on par with Lord Ling Yu. The first Holy Sun could not hide the shock in his eyes, and his expression was extremely ugly. He knew that there was a peerless genius in the East Sea Crystal Palace who possessed the bloodline of the real dragon. However, he did not expect him to be so terrifying. With such talent, even the saints and supreme talents of the ancient times would be amazed. This bastard proud heaven is simply unbelievable. However, he is only a half-step Supreme Realm expert, and the gap between him and Ling Yu is too big. I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to win. Although Long Zhantian was excited, his eyes were filled with worry. Lord Ling Yu, this person is the crown prince of the dragon tribe, and he possesses the bloodline of the real dragon. If we can extract his bloodline, it will be of great use to Lord Ling Yu. Lord Ling Yu, you must not let him go. The first saint's eyes flashed coldly as he hurriedly shouted at Ling Yu. True dragon bloodline. Brat, your strength is indeed not bad, but you don't have the qualifications to be arrogant. Die. When Ling Yu heard the words of the first saint, a greedy look flashed across her eyes. Glancing at Long Outyan, she dashed over immediately. Rumble. Ling Yu's palm struck out like a peerless heavenly blade. Its sharpness was unparalleled, containing the power to destroy everything. Old man, how dare you be so arrogant in front of me, Long Outyan. See if I don't beat you to death today. Long Outyan laughed coldly as he charged towards Ling Yu fearlessly. Rumble. This violent little boy had completely gone berserk. He used the 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique. The power of his bloodline merged with the laws of heaven and earth, turning into a true dragon that was tens of thousands of feet long. It provided him with terrifying power, and he attacked Ling Yu with his physical strength alone. Previously, in the underground cave, Ling Xiao had only obtained a trace of the divine dragon bloodline. Most of the bloodline power had been devoured by Long Outyan. In his bloodline, there was a faint 5-colored radiance that was like a gushing divine spring. It was endless, and it made his physical body extremely terrifying. He could even fight against a sovereign weapon. It could be said that Long Outyan's physical strength was not much weaker than Ling Xiao's. Rumble. The battle between Long Outyan and Ling Yu had suddenly become extremely intense. Kill the three of them first. Nan Tianfang's eyes flashed as killing intent filled his body. He was about to charge towards Long Zhantian and the other two. Swoosh! Swoosh! At that moment, two dazzling lights appeared before Long Zhantian and the other two at an extremely fast speed. Yueshan, who was dressed in a long white robe and had black hair like a waterfall, held the Taiyin ancient sword in her hand. Her cold and peerless face was filled with coldness. Phoenix Woman, who was dressed in a black dress, had a voluptuous figure and jade-like skin. She was like a peerless beauty, exuding an aura that made one's heart beat faster. She held the phoenix tail flaming sky fan in her hand and was surrounded by black flames. Everyone, I advise you not to take action. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. Phoenix Woman's eyes were cold as she spoke slowly. Moon Saint Lady of the Taiyin Palace and Fairy Feng of the Blazing Mountain. Since the two of you are here, I'm afraid Ling Xiao is here too. Ask Ling Xiao to come out. Otherwise, the two of you will not be able to stop us. The First Holy Sun's eyes flashed as he recognized Yueshan and Phoenix Woman's identities. He looked around cautiously and said. After all, Ling Xiao was a peerless expert who was ranked 10th on the Green Cloud roll. He had once killed a sovereign. Even the First Holy Sun had to be cautious. The two of you are not worthy of Ling Xiao to take action. If you know what's good for you, get lost. Phoenix Woman said coldly. Ha ha ha. If that's the case, Ling Xiao is not here. Two half-step sovereigns who are merely one elephant tribulation dare to stop us. You must be tired of living. The First Holy Sun sneered. First Holy Sun, I heard that the two of them are Ling Xiao's women. Why don't we take one each? I will train them well. When we capture Ling Xiao, we will play with them in front of him. That will be the best revenge against Ling Xiao. Nan Tianfang's eyes were cold as he spoke. Very well. Elder Nanshan's idea is not bad. Let's do it this way. We will take one each. Let's see who can deal with them first. Yueshan is mine. The First Holy Sun's eyes flashed as he looked at Yueshan. He sneered and instantly charged forward. You must be tired of living. Yueshan and Phoenix Woman's eyes turned cold. Rumble. Yueshan exuded an extremely cold aura. The Taiyin ancient sword in her hand was extremely sharp as it slashed down at the First Holy Sun. The Taiyin ancient sword? It's a pity that you can't unleash the power of the Taiyin ancient sword. Give it to me. The First Holy Sun sneered. Black light filled his palm as if it had turned into a black iron claw that grabbed at the Taiyin ancient sword. Boom! Yueshan's Taiyin ancient sword collided with the iron claw. Sparks flew everywhere. The iron claw in the First Holy Sun's hand was also a powerful sovereign weapon. The iron claw in the First Holy Sun's hand flashed as he seized the opportunity to grab hold of the Taiyin ancient sword. His other hand slammed toward Yueshan. Buzz! Yueshan's eyes flashed. She pointed her finger like a sword and a moonlight sword energy shot out. It was extremely sharp and contained the power to pierce through everything. Chapter 8:13. Boom! Behind the moon goddess, there seemed to be another full moon flying across the sky. It was like a mysterious world, suppressing the first saint. The first saint's palm landed on the full moon, and an extremely cold light actually spread out, instantly sealing the first saint in ice. This was the lunar divine light, a supreme killing technique of the lunar palace. It was extremely terrifying and could freeze everything. The moon goddess took the opportunity to draw the lunar ancient sword and slashed at the first saint. Moon goddess, this level of lunar divine light can't do anything to me. The first saint suddenly smiled faintly, and the ice around him shattered. The iron claw in his hand was like a cold light, clashing with the lunar ancient sword. Rumble. Suddenly, divine light burst out, and the sky shook violently. While the first saint and the moon goddess were fighting, on the other side, Nan Tianfang also charged at the Phoenix Lady. Fairy Feng, is it? What's so good about that little bastard Ling Xiao? Follow me, and I promise you'll be 10,000 times better than following Ling Xiao. Nan Tianfang's eyes were full of frivolity. He stared at the Phoenix Lady without hiding anything. It was as if a pair of hands grew out of his eyes, wanting to tear the Phoenix Lady's clothes to shreds. Shameless. The phoenix lady's eyes turned cold, and the phoenix tail flaming sky fan in her hand swept across the sky. Suddenly, a violent wind blew, and a scorching phoenix true fire spread out, as if it was going to swallow Nan Tianfang. Fairy Feng, don't be so stubborn. When I catch you, you'll have a taste of my techniques. By then, it'll be difficult for you to die even if you want to. Nan Tianfang sneered. His figure flashed, and like a ghost, he instantly dodged the phoenix tail flaming sky fan's power. The phoenix tail flaming sky fan was very powerful, and it was famous in the entire war god continent. Even Nan Tianfang didn't dare to underestimate it, and he carefully dodged it. Whoosh! A thin black sword appeared in Nan Tianfang's hand, emitting an extremely sharp light, and stabbed at the phoenix lady. Black light spread out around the phoenix lady, and the phoenix tail flaming sky fan buzzed. Instantly, a black phoenix rose into the sky, emitting a dark and scorching aura, and pounced at Nan Tianfang. The battle between the two of them instantly broke out. With Yueshan and Phoenix Girl's interference, Long Zhantian, Lin Hui, and Li Jingming were able to buy some time. However, Long Zhantian was severely injured and was still very weak. Like Lin Hui and Li Jingming, he was only exhausted. At this moment, after swallowing a large number of elixirs, his aura began to gradually become stronger. Kill them. The experts from the Emperor Tomb Mountain and the Nantian family were very decisive. When they saw Lin Hui and Li Jingming's aura getting stronger and stronger, their eyes flashed with killing intent and they all rushed towards them. Humph. A bunch of trash, let me play with you. A sharp glow flashed in Li Jingming's eyes, and then he instantly soared into the sky and slashed down with his palm. He was like an Azura god of blades that had descended to the world, and the terrifying glow of his blade instantly slashed apart a few Monarch Realm experts and transformed them into a mist of blood. Rumble. Lin Hui also waved his sleeve, and instantly, the true phoenix fire spread out and turned into a sea of fire. It directly swallowed over a dozen experts who couldn't dodge in time. They howled miserably in the sea of fire, and in the end, they were turned into ashes. When Ling Xiao arrived at the valley, he saw such a scene before him. That kid, Outyen, actually has such terrifying combat strength? He's at least an 8 extremities genius, right? Ling Xiao said with some surprise. Long Outyen was actually able to fight Ling Yu, who was at the 6th level of the sovereign realm. This made him extremely shocked. This kid's bloodline isn't simple. I'm afraid it's not as simple as the true dragon bloodline. It won't be long before it becomes a true divine dragon bloodline. The old goat took a deep look at Long Outyen and said, "That white-robed middle-aged man is from the spirit tribe. How did the spirit tribe get together with the Emperor Tomb Mountain and the Nantian family?" Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He felt an aura from Ling Yu that was almost exactly the same as Lingji. The 4 great tribes had inherited the orthodoxy of the 4 great divine generals. The cultivation techniques they practiced were actually different. Naturally, the aura of their cultivation was different as well. It was very easy to differentiate. Therefore, Ling Xiao could easily tell that Ling Yu was from the spirit tribe. What's so difficult about that? Why don't you just capture him and ask him? Leave that white-robed middle-aged man to me. Don't fight with me. The old goat chuckled as a strong fighting spirit appeared in his eyes. Whoosh! Without waiting for Ling Xiao to say anything, the old goat charged out. He turned into a black bolt of lightning and his speed was extremely fast. The blood chi around his body was monstrous and divine aura filled the air. The old goat's hooves seemed to contain the power of an immemorial mountain. Who's there? Ling Yu, who was fighting with Long Outyen, shouted as his expression changed. He wanted to dodge the old goat's attack. However, the old goat had already locked onto him. Ling Yu couldn't dodge the old goat's hooves at all. In the end, the old goat kicked him in the head. Crack! A crisp sound rang out. It was the sound of a skull breaking. Ling Yu let out a blood-curdling scream. She felt her head go black, and she almost fell to the ground. Rumble! The old goat was the ancestor of sneaky people. How could he give Ling Yu a chance to fight back? Moreover, the old goat's combat strength was stronger than Ling Yu's to begin with. The old goat kicked Ling Yu's head a few more times. The old goat kicked Ling Yu's head into his body. Then, he exploded with a loud bang. The King Heaven Devourer cauldron flashed and suppressed Ling Yu's primordial spirit. Although the old goat's cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the Venerable Realm, with his combat strength, he could even fight against a 9th level of the Venerable Realm, let alone Ling Yu, who was merely at the 6th level of the Venerable Realm. Old goat, you bastard! This young master almost killed him. You've ruined this young master's good fortune. Long Outyen was stunned. When he saw the old goat kill Ling Yu so easily, he flew into a rage. Long Outyen had been waiting for a long time. He wanted to learn from Ling Xiao and kill a Supreme Realm expert. Now that he finally had the chance, and it was Ling Yu, who was at the 6th level of the Supreme Realm, the old goat beat him to it. That's enough, little brat. You want to kill a supreme being with your mediocre cultivation? Go home and drink your mother's milk. The old goat curled his lips. Wah wah wah. Old goat, I'm going to kill you. Long Outyen was so angry that he wanted to rush up and fight the old goat. Outyen, stop fooling around. The situation has changed. Go and save your brother. Ling Xiao appeared in the void and said slowly with a sharp glint in his eyes. All right. Long Outyen was surprised to see Ling Xiao. However, when he saw Ling Xiao's expression, his face turned serious. He immediately turned around and rushed towards Long Zhantian and the other two. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered with a sharp light. He could already feel that there were several powerful auras rapidly approaching this place. Chapter 8:14. Kacha. The void trembled as 3 terrifying auras descended from the 9 heavens, exuding a vast supreme being's aura. Lingji. A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. Among the 3 terrifying figures, the leader was a woman dressed in palace attire. She looked to be in her 30s, with snow-white skin and a beautiful face. She had a mature charm. This woman was the tribe leader of the spirit tribe, Lingji. She was a titled supreme being. Beside her were 2 elders in white robes. Their hair and beards were white and their faces were hale and hearty. Their eyes were filled with vicissitudes of life and their auras were incomparably powerful. They were both 7th-level supreme beings. The arrival of the 3 supreme being experts instantly caused the void to freeze. When the old goat saw Lingji, a strange look appeared in his eyes. He immediately smiled, revealing a mouthful of sharp and white teeth. So it's tribe leader Lingji. May I know what brings you here? The old goat looked at Lingji indifferently. Lingji looked at the old goat and Ling Xiao with a strange look in her eyes. However, she still said indifferently, so it's the holy sage of the demon tribe. Your Highness, why did you kill Elder Ling Yu of the spirit tribe? Do you really think we're easy to bully? Rumble. Lingji waved his sleeve, and suddenly, a terrifying void domain shrouded the entire valley. This was the power of a titled supreme being's domain. Within the domain, a titled supreme being was an unparalleled existence. Even a supreme being would die without a doubt. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply as he said, Tribe leader Lingji, what are you doing? Elder Ling Yu of the spirit tribe not only tried to assassinate our friend, but he also tried to kill the holy sage. He was extremely daring. If the holy sage killed him, he only has himself to blame. Could it be that tribe leader Lingji wants to stand up for him? The old goat sneered and said, Lingji, I respect you as the tribe leader of the spirit tribe. However, don't go overboard. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Lingji said indifferently, Your Highness, although you are the son of the demon sage, you do not have the right to kill an elder of the spirit tribe. I think that Your Highness must have been bewitched by these outsiders. These outsiders really deserve to die. I'll kill them today to prevent His Highness from being deceived. Lingji's eyes flashed with undisguised killing intent as he locked onto Ling Xiao, Long Outyen and the rest. Oh. Looks like clan leader Lingji's target this time is me. What I don't understand is why clan leader Ling Yu would help the outsiders, the people of Emperor Tomb Mountain and the Nantian family. Could it be that the spirit tribe has already betrayed the oath of the 4 main tribes and colluded with the outsiders? Ling Xiao narrowed his eyes, revealing a glimmer of light. How dare you? Outsider, don't make slanderous accusations. You're about to die, yet you still dare to frame the patriarch. I think you really won't shed tears until you see the coffin. A white-robed elder glared at Ling Xiao, his eyes revealing a chilling murderous intent. Slander? I don't think so. Elder Ling Yu helped outsiders to deal with my friend, but Elder Lingji kept saying that we outsiders had bewitched His Highness Saint. This kind of double standard, I'm afraid it's hard to believe. Clan leader Lingji, don't be so secretive. I think your target is not only us, but also your highness, right? Ling Xiao smiled faintly as he glanced at Lingji. Lingji looked deeply at Ling Xiao, then suddenly smiled faintly and said, Kid, you're very smart. But smart people often die very quickly. Do you think that you can escape from my hands with just the 2 of you? And your highness holy son, since you've killed Elder Ling Yu, pay with your life. Lingji's voice became incomparably cold as he spoke. Rumble. In the valley, Long Outyen had already captured the first saint and Nantian Fang. He had broken their limbs and looked very miserable. Clan leader Lingji, save us. Clan leader Lingji, kill Ling Xiao and these bastards. The Divine Sun doesn't want them to live. As long as you kill them, it'll be a great merit. The Divine Sun will definitely not forget you. When the first saint and Nantian Fang saw Lingji appear, their eyes were filled with excitement as they shouted at him. The Divine Sun? Are you talking about the successor of the War God Temple? I didn't expect that clan leader Lingji had already defected to the War God Temple and went back on his original oath. How sad. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he glanced at Lingji and sighed. Kid, you know too much, so you can all go to hell. Lingji's eyes turned cold, and a blazing killing intent spread out. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled as a terrifying paragon's aura descended. It was as if heaven and earth were about to shatter. It was extremely terrifying. Lingji, you really defected to the War God Temple. Damn it. If the spiritual supremacy is still alive, he won't let you go. Murderous intent flashed in the old goat's eyes. Long Outyen also sneered and said, Cousin, old goat, what's there to say to this old woman? She's old and ugly. No one would want her even if she was given away for free. How dare she act all high and mighty in front of me? Lingji's face turned gloomy. The words, old woman, seemed to have touched a sore spot in Lingji's heart. Her face turned ferocious as she glared at Long Outyen and said, Little bastard, let's see if you still dare to say that when I capture you later. Rumble. Lingji's body emitted a terrifying aura as she reached out to grab Long Outyen. Long Outyen, back off. Murderous intent flashed in the old goat's eyes as he pounced on Lingji. The demon divine scepter in his hand emitted a terrifying aura as it smashed down on Lingji. You're courting death. A cold light flashed in Lingji's eyes as she slammed her palm down. It was as if heaven and earth were about to shatter. It contained a destructive energy fluctuation as it collided with the demon divine scepter. The demon divine scepter shone brightly as dazzling runes spread out. It was as if there were divine Tao laws spreading out, piercing through the void and shattering all energy. Crack! The vault of heaven suddenly trembled and instantly shattered. Both Lingji and the old goat were shaken at the same time and retreated. No! This wasn't the power of a titled supreme martial artist. Lingji's true combat strength was at most at the 9th level of the supreme martial artist realm, but his cultivation had indeed reached the titled supreme martial artist realm. What was the reason? Could it be that the laws in the time cave are incomplete? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he realized that something was wrong. Ling Xiao was the #1 titled supremacy in the world in his previous life. Naturally, he was very familiar with the power of a titled supremacy. Lingxi's combat strength was very strong, but it was far from the combat strength of a titled supremacy. At most, it was comparable to a 9th-level supreme stage expert on the War God continent. Chapter 8:15. Back when Ling Xiao killed the Heavenly Bat Demon Sovereign in Demon City, the Heavenly Bat Demon Sovereign was only in the 6th level of the supremacy stage. Back then, Ling Xiao had sensed that the Heavenly Bat Demon Sovereign was weak, but he didn't think too much of it. It wasn't until he saw the Lingji today that Ling Xiao suddenly realized that the Supremes of the Time Cave were weaker than the Supremes of the War God continent of the same realm. Ling Xiao guessed that it was because of the magical laws in the Time Cave. After all, if the magical laws in a small world weren't complete, it would be difficult to give birth to powerful god spirits. This was especially true for 9th-level supremacy stage experts. If they wanted to reach the great circle of the 10th-level supremacy stage, they would need the approval of the magical laws of heaven and earth. Therefore, there must be something wrong with the Time Cave. Rumble. The Demon Saint Scepter was a flawless divine weapon. It emitted a resplendent light and divine runes. It posed a great threat to the Lingji. The old goat used the Heaven-Devouring secret technique and the Heaven-Devourer cauldron to unleash terrifying battle prowess. Lingji was a little surprised by the old goat's strength, but she still used her powerful killing technique and fought fiercely with the old goat. You too, kill them all. Lingji glanced at the 2 white-robed elders of the spirit tribe and ordered coldly. Yes, am. The 2 white-robed elders' eyes flashed sharply as they charged toward Ling Xiao and the others. Cousin, we'll each take one. Let's see who gets rid of the other first. Long Outyan's eyes were filled with eagerness. Without waiting for Ling Xiao's response, he took the lead and charged forward. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled as Long Outyan punched out. 2 10,000-meter-long true dragons formed behind him and pounced toward one of the white-robed elders. Little bastard, you're courting death. The white-robed old man's gaze turned cold. He did not expect that an 8 or 9-year-old child would dare to attack him. However, his heart was incomparably shaken. The strength of this little boy was too strong. He was like a divine beast cub. The terrifying strength of qi and blood caused his heart to tremble. The white-robed elder didn't dare to be careless. He punched out with the might of a supremacy stage expert. Rumble. It was as if a mountain was descending from the sky, exuding a majestic aura that wanted to suppress the 2 10,000-meter-long true dragons. Crack. Dragon roars shook the heavens and the earth trembled. 2 true dragons flashed across the sky. Golden lightning flashed across the sky. It was as thick as a mountain range. In an instant, it smashed the mountain into pieces and charged toward the white-robed elder. Long Outyan rushed forward at an extremely fast speed. He threw out a punch and the fist print was unparalleled. In an instant, he was beside the white-robed elder. He unleashed his unparalleled physical strength and attacked the white-robed elder. Although Long Outyan was arrogant and unforgiving, he knew that he was no match for the white-robed old man in front of him in terms of combat strength. However, Long Outyan's physical body was very strong. He had the power of the divine dragon bloodline in his body. As long as he attacked in close range, even the white-robed old man was no match for him. The white-robed elder had indeed been careless. He did not take Long Outyan seriously. As a result, he was caught off guard by Long Outyan's punch. He hurriedly blocked it with his palm. Boom! The space shook and the white-robed elder's face changed. After coming into contact with Long Outyan's fist print, he felt the terror of Long Outyan's physical body. The power of the fist print was as boundless as the waves of the sea. His palm instantly exploded and blood splattered everywhere. The white-robed elder knew that he was in trouble. He quickly retreated and tried to distance himself from Long Outyan. However, how could Long Outyan let go of this opportunity after he had succeeded in his attack? Swoosh! Long Outyan leaped and was as agile as a monkey. He turned into a ray of golden light and quickly closed in on the white-robed elder. He threw out a punch and the 1,000 dragons' god-slaying skill exploded. Roar! The dragon's roar shook the heavens. 2 true dragons broke through the space and instantly coiled around the white-robed elder. Long Outyen's fist print was unparalleled and it landed on the white-robed elder's head. Old fart, I'll smash your head. Long Outyen shouted arrogantly. The white-robed elder was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. This kid is too cunning. Who would have thought that he would have such a terrifying physical strength? In the end, the white-robed elder was careless and suffered a great loss. He was at a disadvantage. Little bastard, you're courting death. The other white-robed elder saw the fight between them and was furious. He wanted to attack Long Outyen together. Swoosh! Ling Zhao's body flashed and he stood in front of the white-robed elder. I'm your opponent. Ling Zhao said flatly with a sharp look in his eyes. Kid, since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. The white-robed elder's eyes flashed with killing intent. He saw that Ling Zhao, a half-step to sovereign who had just passed the tribulation of 3 elephants, had dared to stand in his way. He immediately pointed his finger at Ling Zhao's glabella at lightning speed. Swoosh! Ling Zhao's eyes were dazzling as he threw out a palm blade. It was extremely fast and it contained a force that could destroy everything. Poof! There was a flash of blood as Ling Zhao's palm blade chopped off the white-robed elder's finger. Kid, how could you? The white-robed elder was shocked and his eyes were filled with disbelief. However, before he could finish his sentence, Ling Zhao charged at him again. Rumble! The 4 elephants' sky-striking style exploded. The 4 elephants' divine light shot up into the sky and turned into a terrifying fist print. It was dazzling with golden light and it was extremely beautiful. It pressed down on the white-robed elder. The white-robed elder's gaze turned cold as he threw out a punch as well. The strength of a 7th-level supreme martial artist was completely unleashed. His fist seemed to have turned into a blazing divine light that was about to shatter Ling Zhao's punch. Bang! When the 2 fists collided, the primal chaos chi filled the air. The white-robed old man's arm immediately went numb and he was sent flying. An unparalleled divine power entered his body, causing his internal organs to begin to churn. Die! Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with killing intent. The 5 elements' divine light shot up into the sky and turned into a vast boundary that sealed the surrounding void. At the same time, he threw out a punch and the 6 paths of reincarnation world rose up. The 7 limits divine skill of devouring heaven and earth was extremely dangerous and they were all ultimate killing moves. As Ling Zhao's cultivation grew stronger, the terrifying power of this divine skill began to explode. When the 5 elements sky sealing style was used, the power of law in the surrounding was sealed. The energy in the sky was sucked dry by Ling Zhao. The 6 paths of reincarnation world contained the power to crush everything. It blasted the white-robed elder's arms apart and landed heavily on his chest. Crack! Chapter 8:16. How is this possible? This is impossible. Brat, I'm going to kill you. The white-robed old man was about to go crazy. He was a level 7 supreme realm expert with unparalleled strength, but he was injured by Ling Zhao to this extent. Swoosh! An ancient silver war spear appeared in the white-robed old man's hand. Like a dragon emerging from the sea, it instantly pierced towards Ling Zhao. This was a powerful supreme weapon. Under the white-robed old man's control, it was simply indestructible. Clang! Ling Zhao's eyes were incomparably sharp. He actually used his palm to chop down on the silver battle spear, and a bright light burst out. The incomparably huge force shook the white-robed old man's arm until it was numb. Rumble! Around Ling Zhao, rays of bright light shot up into the sky. It was as if 7 bright stars had appeared in the sky, and they came crashing down on the white-robed old man. Break it! The white-robed old man shouted. His eyes were filled with anger, and the silver war spear instantly pierced through one of the stars. However, the second star had also descended, and it possessed twice the terrifying power. Crack! The white-robed old man slashed his spear across the sky again. Although the second star was shattered, his arm was still numb from the impact. Just like that, the stars came crashing down on the white-robed old man from the 9 heavens. They were like immemorial sacred mountains that suppressed the white-robed old man, not giving him any chance to breathe. They contained the unparalleled strength of level 7. The white-robed old man exploded with terrifying strength. He held his spear across the sky and shattered another 3 stars. However, when the 6th star came crashing down, it contained 6 times the strength of level 7. It directly knocked the white-robed old man's silver war spear out of his hand. The white-robed old man spat out a mouthful of blood, and his arms were trembling. The 7th star came crashing down. This time, the white-robed old man didn't have any strength to resist. He was instantly hit by the 7th star. Rumble! His physical body exploded. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere, and drops of Supreme Being blood fell. The ground was pierced through, and the terrifying power of law seemed to destroy everything. Even the valley below began to tremble. Buzz! In the void, a terrifying power of law of heaven and earth descended. Majestic energy gathered as if it was forming a new body. Boom! A sharp light flashed through Ling Zhao's eyes, and a terrifying punch tore through the air. 8 streaks of blazing light condensed on the punch, immediately blasting away the power of laws in the air. This was the 8 Desolation's ultimate style, capable of destroying everything in its path. His flesh, blood, and magical laws shattered, leaving behind only the white-robed old man's nascent divinity. Shrieking in terror, he tried to flee, but before he could, the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron grabbed him and crushed him. What? In the distance, the other white-robed elder who was fighting with Long Outyen saw this scene and his eyes were filled with terror. Ling Xiao was able to defeat a 7th-level Supreme Realm expert in such a short time. Such terrifying combat strength was simply heaven-defying. That's a 7th-level Supreme Stage expert. He died just like that. Long Zhantian's eyes were filled with disbelief. He couldn't believe his eyes. After entering the Cavern of Time, he had separated from Ling Xiao. He had never imagined that Ling Xiao would reach such a level in such a short time. He killed a 7th-level Supreme Stage expert in such a short time. He must be at least an 8th-level Supreme Stage expert, right? He's only a half-step paragon with the tribulation of 3 mammoths. Is the War God continent going to have another 9-severing genius? Li Jingming sighed, exchanging a bitter smile with Lin Hui. Both of them couldn't hide the shock in their eyes. The Moon Goddess and Phoenix Maiden's eyes shone with a strange light. Although they were also shocked by Ling Xiao's strength, they had long since blindly believed in him. Even if Ling Xiao killed a titled paragon, they wouldn't be too surprised, let alone a 7th-level Supreme Stage expert. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's gaze landed on the other white-robed old man. In an instant, he leaped into the air, exuding a monstrous killing intent. Cousin, you're stealing my limelight again. Long Outyen pulled a long face, but he also knew that he was no match for the white-robed elder. If Ling Xiao didn't make a move, he would be the one to lose. Cut the crap. Ling Xiao glared at Long Outyen, and immediately attacked without holding back. Rumble. The fist print was shocking, and the divine light was boundless. Ling Xiao used the 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique, and 49 true dragons came across the sky, exuding an incomparably violent power. The white-robed elder was already scared witless by Ling Xiao, and had lost all will to fight. How could he be a match for Ling Xiao now? The 10,000 dragons god-slaying art, and the 49 true dragons struck like lightning, instantly smashing the white-robed elder's body into pieces. Whoosh! The King Heaven Devourer Cauldron flashed and suppressed the white-robed elder's primordial spirit. Rumble! The battle between Lingji and the old goat was incomparably intense. The void around them shattered, and the sky shook. Bolts of lightning as thick as mountains streaked across the sky, as if they were going to turn everything into nothingness. The old goat's blood chi surged to the sky, and his body exuded terrifying fluctuations. The demon saint scepter seemed to have been fully activated by the old goat, and it charged towards Lingji. Clang! Ganoderma struck out with his palm. Waves of supreme power filled the air and slammed onto the demon saint scepter. Suddenly, the demon saint scepter trembled violently and runes exploded. Ganoderma was also sent flying by the divine power. What? Lingji also saw that the two 7th-level Paragon Elders had died at Ling Zhao's hands, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. How long had it been, and two 7th-level Paragon Elders were already dead? How did these outsiders have such terrifying talent? The First Holy Sun and Nan Tianfang were scared silly. They had been clamoring for revenge against Ling Xiao, but now they were filled with regret. Revenge against Ling Xiao. That was simply courting death. A mere half-step paragon with the tribulation of 3 mammoths had killed 2 7th-level paragons. That kind of battle prowess was terrifying to the extreme. You all deserve to die. Lingji's eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent, and a terrifying paragon's might erupted. Heaven and earth trembled, and the void shattered. The entire domain seemed to be filled with a terrifying killing intent. Rumble. It was as if a peerless goddess had appeared behind Lingji, and her palm landed lightly. Instantly, heaven and earth were turned upside down, and the world was plunged into eternal darkness. Old hag, do you think I'm afraid of you? The old goat laughed coldly. His body trembled, and he let out an ancient and mysterious roar. Rumble. Chapter 8:17. It was a ferocious beast with a height of 10,000 feet. Its whole body was covered with black scales that shone with a cold and sharp light. There was a pair of huge horns on its head that looked like dragon horns, emitting a dazzling black light. Its 4 limbs were like heavenly pillars. Its sharp claws were incomparably sharp, and there was a huge tail behind it that slowly swayed. Endless astral winds were blowing towards them. The ferocious beast was emitting a black light that looked like a huge vortex that was about to devour everything. Immemorial ferocious beast. Tao Tai. You are indeed the son of the demonic beast saint. Lingji's eyes revealed a trace of blazing sharpness. At this moment, the aura emitted by the old goat made her heart tremble. During the immemorial era, there were countless ferocious beasts that wreaked havoc in the world. However, there were 4 great ferocious beasts that were said to be able to kill the ancestral dragon and tear apart the true phoenix. The Tao Tai was one of the 4 immemorial ferocious beasts. It was rumored to be able to devour the heavens and earth. This was the true form of the old goat, the immemorial ferocious beast Tao Tai. Even Ling Xiao was seeing the old goat's true form for the second time. The first time was in the holy ground. Oh my God, cousin, is this the true form of the old goat? The immemorial ferocious beast Tao Tai is too majestic. Long Outyan opened his eyes wide, and his eyes were filled with excitement. Even Long Zhantian, Li Jingming, and the rest were completely shocked. The first saint and Nan Tianfang were dumbfounded. It was rumored that the old goat that obtained the demonic beast saint's inheritance in the holy ground was actually the immemorial ferocious beast Tao Tai. It was like a dream. Old woman, I'm going to eat you. The old goat's blood-red eyes emitted a thunderous voice. He suddenly opened his mouth like a huge black hole, as if he was going to devour Lingji completely. Rumble. The heavens and earth trembled, and endless astral winds filled the air. When the old goat opened his mouth, it was as if the entire world had fallen into darkness. That terrifying devouring force was unstoppable. Lingji's body trembled as if she was going to be sucked into the old goat's mouth by the devouring force. So what if you are the son of the demonic beast saint? Today, you must die. A cold murderous intent flashed in Lingji's eyes as a terrifying supreme divine aura emanated from his body, blocking off the powerful devouring force. Boom! At the same time, a white ancient sword appeared in her hand and slashed towards the old goat. It was like a bright galaxy, extremely bright. Whoosh! The demon saint's scepter instantly flew towards the old goat and floated above his head. Rune lights sprinkled down and the old goat's aura instantly skyrocketed. The old goat opened its mouth and swallowed the resplendent sword light. Ha ha ha. Old hag, I'm the heaven-devouring great emperor who has reigned supreme for all eternity. Do you really think that you can kill me with that little trick of yours? How delusional. The old goat laughed arrogantly, causing the entire area to tremble violently. Whoosh! Whoosh! The Ganoderma attacked. Dazzling rays of light swept across the sky. Waves of sword energy swept across the heaven and earth, bursting with killing power. However, no matter what kind of attack it was all swallowed up by the old goat. Moreover, the devouring force was getting stronger and stronger. It actually pulled the Ganoderma towards the old goat's mouth. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. A cold glint flashed across Lingji's eyes, and an ancient scroll appeared in his hand. He slowly unfurled it, and mysterious ancient characters appeared in the sky. They were like dazzling stars, sprinkling down divine Tao laws. This is a god's decree. Ling Xiao was shocked. Although the god's decree in Lingji's hand wasn't as strong as the one in the War God Temple's successor's hand, it was still a genuine god's decree. Lingji, you actually have a god's decree from the War God Temple? You really betrayed the oath of the 4 major tribes and joined the War God Temple. You deserve to die. The old goat's eyes flashed with cold killing intent as he roared. Humph. The War God Temple is the orthodoxy of the War God Temple. Joining the War God Temple is the same as joining the War God Temple. How can I betray the 4 major tribes? It's you Chongshan and Maha who are stubborn and don't know what's good for them. They will die a violent death sooner or later. After Lingji saw that she was exposed, she directly admitted it and sneered. Rumble. The god's decree swept across the sky. The ancient words carried some kind of law fluctuation and instantly imprisoned the demon saint's scepter above the old goat's head. The demon saint's scepter shone brightly and trembled violently. It wanted to shatter the god's decree but couldn't break free. Lingji could see that although the old goat had transformed into his true form, most of his power came from the demon saint's scepter. Without the demon saint's scepter, the old goat's strength was no match for Lingji. Die! Lingji's eyes flashed with killing intent as the white ancient sword in her hand emitted millions of rays of light. It was like a resplendent Milky Way as it slashed towards the old goat. Rumble. The old goat moved. His Taotai body seemed to be the overlord of this world and contained a terrifying power. The old goat's claws stretched across the sky and instantly crushed the sword chi in the sky. It clashed with the white ancient sword and a resplendent light exploded. Lingji's arm went numb and she suddenly flew back. The god's decree. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with divine light as he came across the sky. He activated the power of the wordless heavenly book and wanted to break free from the god's decree. Buzz. Sure enough, after feeling the fluctuation of the wordless heavenly book, the god's decree began to tremble. The demon saint's scepter struggled violently as if it wanted to break free from the seal. What? Kid, you're courting death. Lingji's eyes flashed with killing intent as she pounced towards Ling Xiao. The white ancient sword was aimed at Ling Xiao's forehead. Roar. Ling Xiao's body exuded a terrifying dragon aura as the dragon roared. His eyes shone with a sharp light as he struck out with his palm. Suddenly, 49 true dragons appeared in the sky and transformed into the Great Dragon Formation. Terrifying divine might filled the air and pressed down on the Lingji. Crack! The resplendent sword radiance collided with the 49 true dragons. Heaven and earth trembled as a terrifying divine light exploded. Lingji's sword radiance was too resplendent. Coupled with her titled Supreme Being realm, even Ling Zhao's Thousand Dragons god-slaying technique could not block this sword radiance. Soon, the formation formed by the 49 true dragons collapsed and exploded into a rain of light. However, with this momentary delay, Ling Zhao's hand came into contact with the god's decree. Buzz. Chapter 8:18 How is this possible? Ganoderma said, a look of disbelief in her eyes. That was a God spirit decree, filled with terrifying magical laws of the Tao of gods. How could Ling Xiao just take it? I'm gonna eat you, you old hag. The old goat roared, causing the dome of heaven to tremble and godlight to erupt. As soon as the demon sage scepter broke free of the God spirit decree, it transformed into a stream of light that shot into the old goat. Ruyuumble. The old goat's aura surged, and his cultivation base climbed from the 3rd division of the Paragon level all the way to the peak of the 9th division. He took a big gulp and black divine light surged. A terrifying devouring force instantly wrapped around the Ganoderma and swallowed it into the old goat's stomach. Ling Xiao, this old hag is too strong. Help me crush her. The old goat sent a message to Ling Xiao. Without any hesitation, Ling Xiao turned into a streak of light and shot into the old goat's stomach. The inside of the old goat's stomach was a boundless primal chaos world. It was filled with mists of primal chaos, filled with yin and yang energy. It was almost as if any living being who entered this place would be assimilated into the primal chaos. That said, Ganoderma was a titled paragon, and was so strong that not even the old goat's stomach could assimilate her. In fact, she might even break free from the inside. Therefore, as soon as the Ganoderma was devoured, the old goat sent her into the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Ruyuumble. Within the primal chaos world was a 3-legged, 2-eared cauldron, ancient and mysterious, shining with dazzling, 5-colored light. Ganoderma was sealed within the Heaven Devourer cauldron, and above it was a demon sage scepter, which sent out streams of god chains filled with sealing power. You think you can trap me with a trifling cauldron? Break for me. Howling in rage, the Ganoderma struggled against the sealing power of the King Heaven Devourer cauldron in the hopes of escaping. If it were just the Heaven Devourer cauldron, Ganoderma might have been able to break free. But the demon sage scepter was a god item, and it was so powerful that not even Ganoderma could escape. The Heaven Devourer cauldron trembled as Ganoderma attacked it from the inside, causing dazzling magical symbols to fly out in all directions. Ling Xiao, let's refine this old woman together. I suspect that this old woman's true form is a supreme divine medicine. The old goat's voice entered Ling Xiao's mind with a hint of excitement. Transcendent divine medicine. Ling Xiao's eyes widened in disbelief. The divine medicine was restricted by the laws of heaven and earth, so it was impossible for it to cultivate into a human form. How could the original form of the Lingji be a divine medicine? That's right. Originally, I also thought that it was impossible for a godly medicine to transform into a human form. However, the old man's inheritance told me that the spirit sovereign of the 4 great godly generals was actually a godly medicine that had transformed into a human form. In the god realm, he was the legendary and incomparably powerful spirit clan. Once the spiritual medicine broke through the restrictions of the heavenly Tao law and transformed into a human form, it would possess the legendary born Taoism aptitude, and its cultivation speed would be extremely fast. However, it is very difficult for a spiritual medicine to transform into a human form. It is almost 1 in a million. Since this Lingji mushroom is from the spirit tribe, I think it is very likely that it is a spiritual medicine that has transformed into a human form. The old goat chuckled. Spirit herbs taking form. However, the 3 supreme beings who died at our hands just now were all humans. They weren't elixirs. Ling Xiao said slowly. That's right. Spirit herbs taking form is very difficult. That's why, in the spirit tribe, only this Lingji mushroom is a spiritual medicine. Most of the others are humans. No matter what, everything will be clear once we refine her. The old goat said. All right. Ling Xiao said, nodding. Eyes flashing, he sat down cross-legged in front of the Heaven Devourer cauldron and used his heaven-devouring secret magic to suppress the Lingji mushroom. I advise you to be good and let me go. Otherwise, the successor of the War God Temple won't let you off the hook. And Ling Xiao, you don't deserve to have that stone steel. If you don't hand it over, it won't just be the successor of the War God Temple who will hunt you down and kill you. The Lingji mushroom's voice echoed out from within the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he chuckled coldly. So, your true goal is my stone steel. Ah, Lingji mushroom. I really don't know what the war god temple promised you. But once I kill you, everything will be clear. Ruyu humble. The Heaven Devourer cauldron shone with dazzling light as heaven-devouring flame surged out. Thanks to Demon Sage's scepter, the Lingji mushroom struggled, but couldn't escape. The heaven-devouring flame was like a host of flaming true dragons as Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in front of the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Considering that the Lingji mushroom was a god medicine, Ling Xiao decided to use his pill-concocting techniques to try and assimilate it. Whoosh! Whoosh! Dazzling light shone out of his hands as he performed a double-handed incantation gesture. Under his control, the heaven-devouring flame transformed into 9 flaming true dragons that shot toward the Lingji mushroom in the Heaven Devourer cauldron. It was the 9 dragons' toy with the pearl magic. Heaven-devouring flame was terrifying to begin with, and could devour anything and everything. But now that Ling Xiao was using it, it was 9 times as powerful as before. Damn it! Demon Sage's son, Ling Xiao. How dare you try to kill me? The War God Temple won't let you off the hook. The Lingji mushroom shouted, drawing on the power of his cultivation base to fight back against the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Trapped in the Heaven Devourer cauldron, the Lingji mushroom was starting to panic. Although paragons could become one with heaven and man, and could unleash boundless power, the Heaven Devourer cauldron was cut off from the magical laws of heaven and earth, as well as millions upon millions of worlds. Therefore, the Lingji mushroom could only rely on her own power to fight back. If things continued like this, it was only a matter of time before Ling Xiao and the old goat completely assimilated her. Unfortunately, no matter what she said, the old goat and Ling Xiao pretended not to hear her. The old goat poured power into Ling Xiao, and then began devouring the quintessence energy of heaven and earth to help Ling Xiao suppress the Lingji mushroom. However, Ling Xiao wasn't in a rush. Instead, he used the 9 dragons toy with the pearl magic to slowly assimilate the Lingji mushroom. No, I can't let this go on. If you want me to die, then you're going to join me in the afterlife. A gleam of determination appeared in the Lingji mushroom's eyes. She could sense her power draining away, and if things kept going on like this, she wouldn't be able to fight back at all. Therefore, she decided to use a warding magic to take Ling Xiao and the old goat down with her. Ru Yuumbo. Chapter 8:19. You want to self-detonate? Unfortunately, you won't have that chance in the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Eyes flashing, Ling Xiao summoned the wordless heavenly tome, which pulsed with mysterious fluctuations that seemed to contain the profundities of the Tao of heaven. In the blink of an eye, it entered the King Heaven Devourer cauldron. The wordless heavenly tome was incredibly powerful when it came to sealing the power of the nascent divinity. The Ganoderma was sealed in the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, backed by the Demon Sage scepter and the wordless heavenly sutra, and was now unleashing terrifying power. Lingji's nascent divinity was sealed, making it impossible for her to summon even a scrap of nascent divinity power. The wordless heavenly tome. That's the legendary wordless heavenly tome. How could you possibly have that treasure? That's a precious treasure of the exalted war god. How could you have it? Ganoderma began to scream. Her eyes were filled with terror. How do you know that the wordless heavenly tome belongs to the exalted war god? Ling Xiao asked, his eyes flashing. How sad. And here I thought the successor of the war god temple would have the highest chance of inheriting the exalted war god's legacy. As it turns out, the wordless heavenly tome is already in your hands. It seems the exalted war god has long since chosen a successor. Unfortunately, you're still going to die, Ling Xiao. You have no idea how strong the war god temple is. You have no idea how strong the war god is. Even if the war god's scarlet dragon came back to life, he wouldn't be a match for the war god. You're dead. There was a trace of madness in Lingji's voice as he laughed out loud. Ling Xiao's eyes glittered as he realized that Lingji really did have a lot of secrets. Most likely, she was a god general or a Dharmaraja from the war god temple. Which divine general of the war god temple are you? Ling Xiao asked coldly. There's no harm in telling you. I'm Divine General Lingji, the second of the 18 divine generals. Above me are the 4 great guardian kings, the left and right celestial masters, and the supreme god of war. Ling Xiao, you're dead meat. Lingji glared at Ling Xiao viciously. God General Lingji? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Drawing on all the power he could muster, he began to assimilate Lingji. Just as he had expected, the tribe leader of the Lingji tribe was one of the 18 divine generals of the war god temple. Who was the first immortal general? Could it be the mysterious time general? In Ling Xiao's mind, a white figure shrouded in light appeared. Rumble. No matter what Lingji said, Ling Xiao and the old goat ignored him. The true devouring flame burned fiercely. The wordless heavenly book and the demonic saint scepter restrained Lingji's power. This refinement lasted for more than a month. After all, Lingji was already a titled supreme being. Even if his combat strength was only at the 9th level supreme being realm, it was still extremely terrifying. If it wasn't for the suppression of the demon saint scepter and the wordless heavenly book, Ling Xiao and the old goat wouldn't have been able to defeat Lingji. In the end, the King Heaven Devourer cauldron exploded with a fragrant aroma, flames, and dazzling light. All that was left was a Lingji mushroom that was crimson red like blood. It looked sparkling, translucent, and dazzling. It emitted a dense fluctuation of divinity. It's really a divine herb? It's just a quasi-divine medicine. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. Who could have guessed that 100,000-year-old blood Lingji would actually be able to take human form and cultivate to such a level? Ling Xiao examined the Lingji mushroom's nascent divinity and confirmed that it was gone. The 18 divine generals of the war god temple all had powerful warding spells in their nascent divinities. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to soul search them, and they would self-destruct. Ling Xiao speculated that this was something left behind by the mysterious war god. Lingji's nascent divinity contained countless secrets. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao couldn't see them. Ling Xiao left the old goat's belly world. Outside, the moon goddess, phoenix maiden, dragon proud heaven, dragon Zhantian, Li Jingming, and Lin Hui were all waiting. Thankfully, the old goat had informed them beforehand, so they weren't too worried. Apart from these people, Ling Xiao also saw Taoist Wuliang and Yuanwan. Taoist Wuliang was still a half-step honorable supreme with the tribulation of 4 divisions. Yuanwan, on the other hand, seemed to have obtained some great opportunity to break through to the tribulation of 3 divisions. Everyone's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Ling Xiao, you and the old goat are amazing. You actually refined a titled supreme to death. If this were to spread to the war god continent, your fame would overshadow the successor of the war god temple, and you'd be number 1 on the green cloud leaderboard. Taoist Wuliang's eyes were filled with amazement. He was also very happy to see the old goat here. These 2 henchmen were together again. So what if he's a titled supreme? Even if a god comes, I can kill him. Taoist Wuliang, you're living quite comfortably these days. You actually kidnapped the 9th princess of the ancient kingdom of Azure Dragon? The old goat widened his eyes and looked at Taoist Wuliang and Yuanwan in disbelief. Don't be so cocky. Ling Xiao already told me that the magical laws of heaven and earth in the Time Moon Grotto are flawed. Titled paragons only have battle prowess in the 9th level of the supremacy realm. If your old man had left you this demon sage scepter, how could you have done that? Taoist Wuliang chuckled, exposing the old goat's lie. The old goat wasn't angry. Instead, he smiled proudly. So what if I'm in the 9th level of the supremacy realm? If you're so good, go ahead and kill a 9th level supremacy realm expert for me to see. Alright, stop fooling around. That Lingji clan leader's true form is a 100,000-year-old quasi-godly medicine, blood Lingji. Today, I'll let everyone have a taste of it. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Everyone was gathered together, and none of them had suffered any injuries. Ling Xiao was very happy to see that. 100,000-year-old blood Lingji. Taoist Wuliang and Dragon-Proud Heaven's eyes lit up. Ling Xiao smiled and pulled out the Heaven Devourer cauldron. The 100,000-year-old blood Lingji was fully 300 meters tall, dazzling and translucent, and emanated blood-colored light and a fragrant aroma. Next, Ling Xiao pulled out a 3,000-meter-long black python, which was a demon sovereign that Ling Xiao had killed earlier. Dragon-Proud Heaven, the old goat, and the others all offered up the corpses of powerful beasts. Then, they cleaned the corpses and put them together with the blood Lingji, which Ling Xiao then used the Heaven Devourer cauldron to make a perfect tonic soup. The Heaven Devourer cauldron shone with scintillating light and true heaven-devouring flame. Before long, a fragrant aroma began to waft out of the cauldron. The Heaven Devourer cauldron contains snake meat, bear paws, a 10,000-year-old lobster spirit, and a demon sovereign devil cow. They were all mixed together in a stew, causing a fragrant aroma to spread out. The meat was translucent and sparkling, and pulsed with dazzling light. It was almost as if Taoist Wuliang were performing a magic trick as he pulled out jars of fine wine. According to Yuan, Taoist Wuliang had stolen some monkey-like demonlings to brew the wine. In the end, the demonlings had been so enraged that they had nearly destroyed the entire mountain range. Of course, the wine was pure and fragrant, and was sparkling and translucent, leaving a lingering fragrance in the mouth. Furthermore, it was filled with the quintessence of spirit medicines, causing everyone's eyes to shine. It didn't take long for everyone to start toasting each other. It was a joyous and harmonious atmosphere. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.